Good afternoon, good morning, or good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a very special stream. Welcome to Edinburgh Airport and the fantastic PMDG 777. I got a treat for you guys. I have 777. Well, I've got to be honest with you guys. I have a 787 captain joining me today. He does, however, have 6,800 hours on the Boeing 777, which is what we're flying just now. He is a United Airlines Boeing 787 captain. His name is 104th Bullet. He is a legend among the DCS circles, and he's been kind enough to bless us with his company for this flight. And he's going to talk us through how to operate the incredible 777-300ER aircraft. We're going to be doing a flight from Edinburgh down to London Gatwick. And hopefully my main man is here. Are you there, Bullet?
I'm here.
He's here. Can you hear him, chat? You're a little bit quiet on my end.
Test 1 2.
Let me just turn you up a little bit, boss.
Test.
Right, I've turned you up a little bit. Chat should be able to hear you a little bit better now. So I was just telling chat that you have 680 hours. Sorry, 6,800 hours on the 777.
Yeah, I think that's right.
And you're now a 787 captain.
Yeah, coming up on what, 1,500 hours in that airplane now. So
fantastic.
It's moving. It's crazy.
And am I right in saying that the 777, even though you're on the 787 now, the trebles, you're definitely your favourite?
For flying, yeah, the 777 is the. Let's see, I've flown 37, 57, 67, 777, 787. 777's the best flying airliner I've ever flown, and it just handling qualities are just wonderful. Exactly how you think an airliner should be. That's it. But the 787, we were talking about it offline here a little bit ago, is just more comfortable. It's got the humidity. It's got the lower cabin. The seat has a tilt function, which is like a lazy boy. The whole seat reclines, so you can get really comfortable. And then the brake room is just better. So 787 is more comfortable, but 777 is funner to fly.
And is it same sort of flight times, or do you find that the 787 does longer flights?
They're both very comparable in the routes that they. Well, the flight times are the same, and at my airline they pay the same for each aircraft, so you can kind of go in between them. And the 787, a little smaller. Has a little better legs, so they usually use it on the longer, thinner routes that we have, and then the real heavy routes between the bigger airports, 777 does.
Copy.
Yeah, maybe a little more volume for me.
And does I know it's two separate type ranes, but is there any pilots that jump between them both?
It's still separate type rating, so you have to go back to school to get into the new seat that you're going to be in. If you go from captain to or from first officer to captain, you got to go to school for that, even if you're on the same airplane. If you go between 777 and 787, you still have to go to school. It is a shortened school because they're similar, but they're just different enough to really get you in trouble if you don't study enough.
Copy. Yeah, there's a lot more automation on the 787 there's quite a lot of automation on the 777, to be fair, as well. I think I remember, and you probably remember this well, Bullet, that, do you remember on Discovery Wings, the greatest television channel to ever exist? Remember when the 777 was just coming onto the market? There was a huge series all about the 777, specialising on the Discovery Wings channel. So that's really where I fell in love with the 777 from all that documentary footage, and just how much of a leap forward the 777 was from like the 57 and the 67.
Oh yeah, that was a great video series. And I was an intern at United in '94, and that was the first flight of the second 777, which was the first United plane. And I saw its first flight at Boeing Field. I was out there for a tour, so I got to see the first flight of the airplane, and then I got to fly that thing for a lot of years afterwards. So that was really
fantastic. Came full circle.
Yeah.
Right, so I know that you are watching the stream. Unfortunately, Jim is going to be just a couple of seconds behind. I couldn't stream it to him live on Discord so that he could kind of be talking to us in real time. So there is going to be a slight delay, but As you know, Bullet, we are sitting here. The aircraft is not cold and dark, and that is something that I'm told by Bullet it is quite realistic. So what I'll do, Jim, if you want to take over, so would you kind of let us know, like, so if you get to the 777 and it's the first flight of the day, what can the flight crew expect when they come into the cockpit?
Yeah, let's see. First thing, usually the mechanics show up to the plane like 20-30 minutes before we get there, and they just kind of run through it and check all systems, make sure everything is set up, and they'll leave it in a partially powered up state, which usually has the APU or ground power on. Now, 777 will leave the battery on because it doesn't catch fire as easily as the 787 battery. That's a whole thing. So we make sure the battery is never charging unless somebody is kind of present in there. So battery is usually off in the 787, but 777 battery on, ground power, and sometimes they'll have the APU running, and if they do, then they'll have the packs on also to start cooling off the cabin.
Copy. So when people, new pilots to the PMDG 777, when they load up and they see that as soon as they get in the cockpit, it's not cold and dark, the screens are actually on, that is realistic then?
Yeah, cold and dark is a very rare thing at the airline, for every airliner basically, because usually a plane gets in, the last
someone
crew just
spawned
left the
on
plane,
us,
they're
chat.
coming there to pick it up, like on the narrow body stuff, and when they're doing 6-7 legs a day.
Yeah.
777s. Okay, looks like we have another airplane.
Yeah, this is how this is how planes are made. So we have someone that's just spawned inside us. Hopefully, we'll give them a little minute and see if they will move out the way here. So this is the biggest stand that is available at Edinburgh Airport, which is why we have the 777 on here.
You can see the size difference.
Yeah. So I think this is a little baby 737 or something that spawned in on us. So we'll give him a little second and just see if he'll get out of the way. So I just want to take a quick stop just to say hello to everybody on chat. Welcome, guys. I will try and keep up with the chat as good as I can. I've got 104th Bullet with me. The plan is to fly from Edinburgh down to London Gatwick. We're going from... we did already fly the very first flight in the 777. We flew into London Heathrow, but we're going to try London Gatwick today. We are on the VATSIM network, as you can tell, because there is someone inside our personal space has been invaded at the moment. Hello to everybody that's joined us. Special thanks to Skitsy. Welcome, sir. Good to see you, my friend. We've got Elliot in the house as well. Windows is in here. Windows going to be taking a jump seat. Hidden Success, I Am Zorro, Let's Go, Ryan Weeds, Mr. Flint, Jungly Sims in the house as well. Good to see you, Jungly. Glad you could join us, Elliot. D's Nuts is up in here as well. Cutlass Ahoy's in the house. 104th Wiley's in here. We've got some proper VIPs joining us. Welcome, guys.
Hey, everybody.
Yeah. So we got Jim. Unfortunately, Jim's just watching on the stream. He's not like kind of watching the stream in live time, so there will be a little bit of a delay. But I will try and keep talking you through. So the plan for tonight in this flight is Bullet's going to talk us through how they operate the 777 at United, what's the most realistic way to go about the business, and just giving us some tips and tricks about operating the 777 as we go along. He's also been kind enough to volunteer his professionalism and his time for any questions that you guys have. So
see an aircraft, I mean baggage carousel around here?
Hey Black, thank you so much for the resub on the tier 1. Hey Laws, good to see you. Sorry miss, I didn't see you there. Sorry my friend.
Hey Lawsy.
So Bullet's going to be answering any questions that you guys might have. So we've got a bit of an AMA on with Bullet. So if you have any questions, please type them in the chat, and either Bullet will answer them himself, or I will forward the question on to Bullet as long as I actually see it. But just bear with me a second. Just let me check in with this guy and see if I can get him to move stands, and we can continue on with our operation here.
Yeah, I'm watching both chats on YouTube and Twitch, so... Yeah, any questions you have on airline stuff, fire away.
Nice.
Kind of the overall procedures, way we do things at United with the airplane is we kind of have a flow, and then we have a checklist after that flow. So when we first walk up to the jet, you get in captain-wise, do the briefing with the crew or flight attendants, and look at the maintenance info, and then you do your pre-flight check, which is basically a pre-flight flow on your side of the cockpit, and then the FO comes in and does their pre-flight flow on their side of the cockpit. And once everybody's done with that, then we'll do a pre-flight checklist. We'll do our main briefing before that point also, and then so basically that gets the airplane almost ready to go, and then we have a before push flow that we do. We do that right before they or right after they are getting ready to close the door. The customer service comes up, talks to us, make sure we have everything we need, and then when they start closing up the door and the cabin's getting ready, that's when seatbelt sign goes on, and then we do our before push flows. And that's usually when all the pumps go on, all the high flow item or high power usage items.
Consumables.
We don't like to run those more than we need, like electric fuel pumps and hydraulic pumps. We'll put that on right before we're ready to push type thing. And that's when you would move your horizontal stab trim. I was watching you were talking about that on your last flight.
Nice, yeah, so there was a bit of confusion. I was watching some other streamers as well, and a positive note, I have contacted this pilot and he has agreed to swap sign. What an absolute gentleman. That is BVX97 Alpha, so thank you so much for that, for moving across there, my friend. Appreciate that. Yeah, so we're the guys on the outside, the baggage handlers, are getting the aircraft all loaded up. We are taking on passengers at this time. So I think it's yeah, time for us to start thinking about getting the aircraft powered up. So we do have this fantastic feature on the aircraft where we can call up the electronic checklists down on, what would you call this page again? I know it's one of the MFDs, but what's this screen called?
Lower ICAS screen. We have upper and lower ICAS, and then we have primary flight display in front of us, and then navigation display where your main map is.
Copy. Alright, so we have the lower ICAS with the electronic checklist on it. Do you want to walk us through what it is? I mean, is there anything on here that maybe, I noticed that the ADIRU is actually off at the moment. Is that one of the first things that you guys would put on in real life, or how would you go about it?
Yeah, that's in the pre-flight flows, and usually we put the checklist up on the on one of the inboard upper displays, and we kind of keep the lower display dedicated for comms, because we're always going through that and talking with ACARs and getting up info. So bottom screen is usually comms, but yeah, that's just real world stuff. Usually you do a flow, pre-flight flow, and we could do that kind of from the FO side. The FO takes care of all the overhead panel.
Yeah.
And so if we want to go overhead, we can start getting that set up, and then.
Okay, so we've jumped over to the FO side, so I'll just go up to the overhead panel. If you want to start just, yeah, I know that there's going to be a little bit delay, so this might be a little bit frustrating for you, but if you can just do your thing, my friend, and just walk us through how we start a 777 in real life.
Yeah, FO would get into a seat, check oxygen, basically set up their seat with their headset and everything else, and then upper left side is where we start. ADIRU, you could turn that on. And then electrical panel, make sure we get power on with the battery, and let's see, yeah, just APU is running the system.
Yep.
All the proper lights are on, nothing else is disconnected. Then the second one, emergency exit lights, we can arm those. Service interphone off, that's a big one. Mechanics always use that service interphone, and if they have that on, that can mess up our intercom system a little bit. So we make sure emergency exit lights armed, service interphone off. Window heats are on. We leave the pumps off for now. Seatbelt sign is off. Lighting where we need it. Then back up to overhead. The fire panel for the APU and cargo. Make sure all that is not illuminated. The discharge is not armed. Auto start is armed. Yeah, this overhead panel looks good. We'll keep the pumps off for the fuel right now.
Okay.
And then you can do an indicator light test up near the lights, just underneath the anti-ice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Switch it up. Oh, yeah, there we go. Yeah, they all come on.
That goes to test, and then you can test all your lights. The 777 is really good that when everything is in the correct position when you're flying, all the lights on the overhead will be off. So you won't see any lights. If a light comes on, then you know something's wrong.
Yeah. So as far as nav lights when you're in the cockpit, is that right?
Yeah, nav lights are always on. We have them always on. And then beacon whenever the aircraft's going to move.
Yep.
And then logo light at night. Wing light is whenever you're getting ready to go in the active area, like going on the runway and when you're flying.
Copy. What about the runway turn off? Is that, do you use that? Is that just for exiting the runway, or do you use that during the taxi to the runway as well?
The wing light, strobes, and runway turn-off lights go on when we're cleared to line up and wait on the runway. And then when we're cleared to take off, we turn on the landing lights.
Copy.
And then 18,000 feet, everything except the strobes comes off.
Roger.
And then we reverse that when we're coming in. So that's lighting. Air conditioning, Basically everything is in auto, and the only time we really turn those off is if we have to do a bleeds off takeoff, where we need maximum performance on the airplane. We'll use the APU to pressurize the cabin, and the engines can just put all their power into making thrust.
Nice. So we do that here on the bleed air switches. We just have those all off.
This way.
Sorry, if we did a bleeds off takeoff, it would just be the engine bleeds would be turned off. Everything else would stay in auto.
Ah, right, roger that.
Computer's
So
smart, and it
left
knows
engine,
what to
right
do.
engine would be off. APU and the isolation ones would all be in auto, yeah?
Yeah, correct. And if you get a bleed or you get any
Shadow,
problems
thank you so
in
much,
different
brother.
parts of the airplane, the system will start isolating it for you.
Roger.
And then you can see it going through that. And
This way.
if anything comes up, any problems that you have, usually just let it sort itself out a little bit and then go to the right checklist.
Copy. All right, so
outflow valves, both auto,
Yep.
Hello.
and then we're done with the overhead.
Nice. All right. So
And
overhead
then,
panel set up.
so- say again, sorry.
Overhead panel set up, yeah.
Yeah, this is set up for pre-flight.
Boarding pass, please.
And then you would basically go over to the right-hand side. We already got our oxygen checked. Then you would go over to the brightness displays, make sure they're good. On the FO's right side there.
Yeah.
And then you go to your instrument panel in front of
May
you.
I see your boarding pass?
Make sure the lighting is good where you want it. And then you can go up to the MCP.
Hello.
Standby nav, displays, and air data are all normal.
Boarding pass,
Those
please.
switches can actually be hit by your feet. When you put your foot up to relax, you accidentally hit your standby pedostatic systems in that, so you got to be careful.
All right, right.
Overhead, or I'm sorry, MCP panel, basically just set your navigation, your maps to where you want.
Welcome on board.
Flight directors will go on at this point. LNAV and VNAV, you could arm those. That's about it.
We
until
haven't
get
done
our
any
clearance.
FMC stuff yet. I don't think they'll come on just now in this sim. I was going to ask,
Yeah.
what about the passenger oxygen on the overhead
This way,
panel on the right of the service interphone? At what point do we put that on?
That should be automatic on this airplane. If the cabin goes above 10,000 feet, that's the oxygen masks deploy. If they don't automatically deploy, pushing that button drops all the masks for all the people.
Hello.
Copy. So I've just turned it to on, so I'm not sure if it's like a difference between like the sim and the real aircraft, but it's sitting in the on position now.
May I see your boarding pass?
Well, let's go back in the cabin and see. That's a one-time push.
Oh, right.
Once you push it.
I
Let's go
have
back in
seen.
the
I have
cabin.
seen back in. I don't think the masks are down. Let me have a quick look. No, luckily the masks are not down in the cabin. So
Unfollow. Come on, this thing
unfollow.
isn't
Yeah,
realistic.
it's unrealistic. Get them binned. So IRL, that's not something that you would turn on.
Oh no! You don't want to push that one.
Right. Okay. All right. Oh well.
It's a guarded switch. One of the fundamentals of flying airliners, if a switch is worn out and you can hardly read it anymore, that means everybody's pushing it, you can touch it.
Boarding pass, please.
If the switch looks brand new and has never been touched, it has dust on it, don't touch it.
Roger. Yeah, I'm getting a passenger oxygen thing. So I stupidly thought that it would be something that we could turn off and on, but like you say, it's a one-time switch. Never mind.
Do we want to reset it or are we good?
We're good. We'll roll with it. I'm sure I've done it the last time as well. I think it clears once the engines are up and running, but it's not letting me select the checklist.
Hello.
It's not letting me box that the oxygen tested to 100%.
You probably have a non-normal checklist,
Welcome on
so you can go to non-normals, and if anything unusual is going on, the non-normal will be up,
May I
and
see
you
your
can
boarding pass?
see.
I wonder if it's because I have it up on here as well. Hold on.
Actually, no.
Yeah,
On
it
the
is,
bottom
it is.
of the menu for the checklist, you'll have a non-normal prompt if
Hello.
there's anything that's come up. So
Copy.
we don't have.
All right, so it wasn't letting me click on it on the lower ICAST because we have it set on one of the primary flight displays up on the front here, but I've got it working now. Right, so that is the pre-flight checklist complete. We are on to the before start checklist. Oh, hold on, chat's telling me failure panel, disable the failure. Hold on one second, Jim. Where's the failure panel?
Hello.
Elliot says reset it.
Good evening.
Now's a good time to go over your flight planning and just see what you have, and we know what we can install in the box.
Good
Yeah,
evening.
so let's have a quick look at the flight plan. Just bear with me 1 second.
Sure.
Welcome on board.
So I'll get the display
So
capture
basically,
up.
when we get in the airplane pre-flight, we get all the systems in the
evening.
airplane basically set, and then we dive into comms and the box, and that is basically programming the computer at
Boarding
that
pass,
point.
please.
Roger. Alright, so we are going from runway 24. It's going to
Good
be
evening.
the GoSam 1 Charlie departure. So we're planning to push back onto Golf or Mike, depending which option we get. We might get facing north on Mike if we can. We'll take that. So it's going to be straight ahead on Mike, turning right onto Alpha and taxiing to Delta 1
evening.
for the departure on runway 24. The departure plate straight ahead on runway heading. I'll bring up the plate here. Runway heading, climbing towards the beacon, not above 6,000, not below
Good evening.
2,300 by the time we get to the beacon. Then we're turning right, headed 262 degrees, climbing 6,000 feet all the way out towards Mavex. From Mavex, we're making the left-hand turn towards GoSam, for which we have to be at 6,000 feet. We have to be at 6,000 feet by 14 DME from India Tanga Hotel, which is the I think it's the ILS. We don't have any ATC after departure, so we'll probably just take the left-hand turn to proceed en route reasonably quickly. If we have any emergencies after V1, we'll take them into the air. If we have an emergency, any kind of emergency before V1, we'll attempt to reject the takeoff. If after V1, we'll get it in the air. Any problems, we'll go out, we'll troubleshoot, and we'll head out to the east and dump fuel if we need to, and then come back in. I don't think we need to dump fuel. The aircraft's quite light to get down to London. Anyway, after we get up off the departure plate, we're heading down to the south. We'll probably go direct to DCS just for the memes, down towards Dean Cross. From
evening.
Dean's Cross, we're heading into Northern England, Southwark, all the way down to Keypad, Telba,
Boarding pass,
Vidocq,
please.
and then to Disick, where the arrival into London Gatwick begins. We're coming in on the Disick 1 Golf arrival. We're expecting runway
This way.
26 left into Gatwick. We probably will have air traffic control by the time we get there, but the arrival
This way.
plate, we have to be at flight level 200 by Disick, flight level 150 by Kidley, and then we're expecting radar vectors by the time we get down to Midhurst. They'll probably give us some radar vectors in. I don't imagine that we'll fly the full procedure all the way to Willow. They'll give us some radar vectors to head to set up for the ILS arrival. I'll just check what the weather is on Twitch just now, 1 second.
Are we going to Gatwick?
A-firm, sir. Echo Golf Kilo Kilo, London Gatwick we're going to.
Oh, okay. I thought we were doing Heathrow. Okay.
Yeah, sorry, I done Heathrow the other night, so we're going to do London Gatwick this
Good
one.
evening.
So the winds at Gatwick are 240 at 6, visibility is greater than 9 kilometres, winds scattered, clouds scattered at 4,600, temperatures 18 degrees, dew points 10, QNH 1017, so quite an easy day coming into Gatwick, and we're
Good
expecting the runway 26 left for the arrival. I'll pop that into our flight planning. Is anything you want to add, Jim? Obviously I've probably missed out loads of stuff. Anything you want to add that's prevalent?
Hello.
Yeah, you're covering most of the stuff we're going to do on our pre-flight briefing, so that's good.
Welcome
We'll
on
be able
board.
to speed through that a little bit faster. I sent you that picture of what we have for our
Welcome on board.
checklist there, or briefing card.
Ah, fantastic, yeah.
Yeah, you covered a good chunk of those, but we'll run through it again, show everybody what we do.
Copy.
But no, good.
Boarding pass, please.
Do you want me to leave the chart up on the screen while you run through it?
We can actually.
This way.
Well, let's program the airplane first, get the airplane all ready to go, and then we can go through the brief.
Copy. Alright, 1 sec. Alright, so FMC page. Talk us through what it is the first thing you would do. In fact, bear with me 1 second. I need to go to the failures page and turn off this thing.
Okay. FMC,
please.
number one thing is when we first walk on the airplane, we actually make sure that we're in the right airplane. We've had people at our airline before get on the wrong airplane and they start
Oh,
doing
wow.
stuff.
I see your
Maintenance
boarding
switch
pass?
to airplanes or something. So you want to make sure that the aircraft number actually matches all the paperwork
Welcome
that we
on
have
board.
and what the
Right.
airline's planning to do. To make sure the dates are right. I'll wait till you're finished with your failures.
Hello.
I don't see anything regarding the oxygen, like how to reset it. Any
Boarding
tips,
pass,
chat?
please.
Don't even worry about it. We'll just.
Yeah, like I said,
leave
the first two
later.
flights I did, I hit that auction switch, so yeah, that's fine, no
Hello.
problem.
Init ref page, and then
Yep.
first page on there.
Okay, so FMC
Boarding house,
and
please.
init ref. So our initial position.
Good evening.
So take that and then drop it into set initial pause.
Index,
Good
and
evening.
then yeah, let's go index first, and then the top left button.
Hello.
Okay.
Hello.
So checking we're in the right aircraft.
Yeah, right aircraft, right engines. Stranger things have happened. The date is the big one. Make sure it's an active date for us. The drag and fuel flows. Each airplane, as the engines wear, the fuel flow changes. When the airplane gets bent, the drag changes a little bit. So make sure those match with our flight plan.
I take it like plus, so 00 would be like nominal, and like plus, as the engine gets older and more weird, like it would maybe be plus like 0.2 or something to expect a little bit higher fuel flow quantity.
Yeah, 00 and like 1.1 or 1.2 is
May I
pretty
see your
common.
boarding pass?
Copy.
Depends how much the airplanes age.
Roger.
But okay, then so you can go to the bottom right, which is pausing it. That's the next one. Then it kind
Yeah.
of steps you through.
Yep. So I've already taken the liberty of grabbing our last known position and dropping that
Yep.
into
If we
the
have GPS, that's a good one. We can just put GPS in there. If not, then we go to the chart,
This
look
way,
for our
please.
gate, put those numbers in.
Yep.
We had a 747-400 in where were they? Australia, in
This way.
Sydney, and the guys were coming back on a trip, and they put in the coordinates, and like, man, it wouldn't take. And so they thought there was a problem, so they pushed it in again. It's like, it's not working. They pushed it in. They just kept pushing it. And then the third time, the airplane said, okay, you sure? And said, yeah. And the guys were putting in the coordinates for LAX because they're flying out LAX to Sydney, and they're doing another one of their turns. And they just thought they were in LA, just by rote memory.
Yeah.
And they pushed it in the system and actually took off, got airborne, and then the airplane by that point was so far off they had to go back and land, and they had to dump 150,000 pounds of gas.
Wow.
Go back and land and reset the
That is
navigation.
an awkward conversation. That's an awkward debrief.
It is. So yeah, GPS position good. Then we can go to route, and then our comm page will usually upload the route from the company. They'll have that in the system through ACARS.
Copy. So this is where it might be a little bit different from what you do in real life.
Yeah.
So in Flight Sim, we do it with SimBrief, which was, I'll show it for the chat here, I'll bring it on. So this website, I think you've seen me do this earlier on, Bullet, when we were planning. So there's a very good integration between most modules in Flight Sim and this website. They provide like a freeware service, but there's also the charts that I was showing you a minute ago while we were doing a brief. That's a payware navigation chart that you pay for annually. So we've done all our flight planning through based on this. This will generate our OFP. It gives us a route, gives us the load sheet and stuff like that. So basically what we can do is go to the aircraft, and that will talk to this website essentially. So if I go to route request, PMDG 777, and then it's in, hold on one second. Let me just work this out.
For KBU in the chat, yeah, no in-flight alignment. They couldn't legally do it and go oceanic for 15, 16 hours over the Pacific. So they had to come back and land.
I'm just seeing. So the last time I did this, when I clicked on route request, it asked me to go to SimBrief. So hold on, I don't know why it's not working now. Just bear with me a wee second, mate. It might be that I have to.
We call it initializing the airplane on the comm page for ACARS. So I don't know what you have here.
Hold on, it might be. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, sorry, Mr. Flint has just reminded me I need to import it on the EFB first. So just bear with me. EFB, and then I'll go to request data from SimBrief, and that'll build the route from the website that we have just planned. Thank you so much, Flint.
In our airplane, we've had to do this before, is when you start initializing it, or if there's a equipment substitution because of maintenance, say your airplane goes down for maintenance, they have to give you a new airplane. Somebody else was already setting that plane up to go somewhere to another airport, and the airplane thinks it's on that flight, and so you have to reset the system. And the FMC, the Control Alt Delete for the FMC is to actually switch the dates of the database. So on your init ref page, you can swap the dates, swap them back, and then that resets the whole system.
Nice.
So that's an FMC reset for you.
All right, we've managed to. Luckily, the chat has reminded me how to do it. So we have the route here: Edinburgh to Gatwick. Our alternate is Manchester. Initial altitude flight level 350. That's going to be our cruise. It says cost CI. I'm assuming that's cost index. It says 169, but I thought the cost index ended at 100.
It depends on the airplane. 0 to 200 is what we use for the triple. We can go 0 to 500 on the 787. 30 is our kind of default econ cost index if we're going to be early.
Yeah, I
And
think
then we'll go all the way up to
Emirates
200.
fly with 37 on their trebles. I think 37 or 38, somewhere around there.
It's a formula how fast you want to fly the airplane
Yeah.
compared to how many hours you put on the airframe, maintenance-wise and all that stuff. And so that's what the formulas boil down to.
Copy. All right, so we have a very handy little point here now in the FMC where we can actually set the payload from the FMC and also set the fuel. So you'll notice that our fuel just changed there up in the corner, so it matches the block fuel that we have requested through that website as we do our flight planning. So that is something very useful. Just had my main man Elliot just be like, yo, what did you do there? So a lot of people don't know about this just yet, but you can move the EFB to different places. So it's very handy for transferring information into the FMC from the EFB. So you click on the Boeing 777 logo, and it moves the EFB. You see the little ghost hand holding it up here, so you can then go to like your performance calculator and get all your numbers and then just transfer them straight into the FMC without having to look backwards. I believe also if we click up here somewhere, oh no, so I can click on that to put it back, but there's a click spot somewhere around about here to put it up on the window. Somewhere about here there's another click spot you can click, not the pen, and it goes up on the window there. So that's just a good tip for you guys if you want to start using that just while you're putting your data in. Right, so Bullet, where do we go from here? We've set our route, and I take it we go to, in fact, hold on, I want to go to select route and execute it, is that right? Passenger signs, MCP, not yet.
Yeah, I'm watching. I don't know how this data links into your route. Go push the route button again. Route down below.
I think I need to, again, this is just a simism, mate, versus what you do in real life, so I need to go to select route here, I'm pretty sure. And then activate, and I'll get execute. But I noticed this on the last time that I need to wait a little second. So it's sending a request. This is like maybe the data link thing that you'd mentioned. It's requesting the route. So I'm just going to wait a little moment and see what happens.
Yeah, sometimes it takes a minute or two for us to get stuff coming through.
Right.
We have some gates are infamous now, like in San Francisco, some of the international gates, the ACARS can't even link. We can't get a signal, so we have to push back and get into the alleyway before we can start downloading stuff. Little things.
It's so cool how everything's just digitized now. Gone are the days where you're walking in with all these maps and stuff and mountains of paperwork. It all just comes through the FMC.
Yeah, well, garbage in, garbage out. So
Yeah.
you have all this fancy stuff done, but you still look at everything and make sure it's loaded right because, yeah, you don't want to turn left when you're supposed to turn right around some mountains or something. Yeah, autopilot is awesome. It flies you nice and smooth, straight and level right into a mountain every time. That's the way I think of it.
Garbage in, garbage out, like you say. Right, so I had this issue the last time where I literally just requested the route over and over again, and eventually when I went to execute it would work.
Okay, here's the thing. Right now, what we would do, just really quick, between the captain's rudder pedals, you got your brake source light is on. Whenever that lights up, we'll go up to the overhead and turn the right electric hydraulic pump on to pressurize the brakes.
Okay, one sec.
Because that pressurizes the parking brake, and we don't want to lose our brakes.
The C2 one, Charlie 2? Or
the right one, no, on the right engine, or electric actually. The rotary switch on
Yeah,
the
so
right.
the
There you
R
go.
the
Yeah.
R elect auto, right? Okay, so I set that
Yep.
to
Go to auto or on.
Oh, right, I've got it on to auto and it's done itself on now. Nice one.
Now we should look at brake source. That should be up at 3,000, and then you can turn that electric pump off again.
Ah, very cool. Thank you. If I can remember my goddamn buttons. All right, to off.
Yep, there it is. Good.
Perfect. Right, the guys in chat are saying to me, load, and then wait. So I think, yeah, just I don't have any load buttons, so I've already did it quick. There it's there, like, so one, this is what I'm looking for now, page 1 of 3, now I know that it's in there, so if I go to execute, and then if I go to my legs page, I'll see that everything's in here. Yep, we have done it. So we have our legs in there, so do you go straight to the departure arrival page from here, or is there another step before that?
We'll look through legs, and both pilots will independently verify the route, and then you can go departures, arrivals, and then you can put those in, and then match those up.
Copy. Now,
There's
only one runway here at Edinburgh, so where they're using it, so there's not going to be any ambiguity with the SID that we're on. But are you guys in real life, do you check in with like ground or clearance to get the delivery, or do you get the delivery through the FMC?
We'll get the delivery through ACARS, through data link, about 30 minutes before departure. Depends on which international station we're at.
And will that give you the SID?
Yeah, but we usually know what's going to happen, and dispatch will put that in our flight plan, what to expect. And
Copy.
so we'll usually program everything up for that, and then we'll verify it once we get our actual clearance.
Roger. All right, so we've
And
selected...
about half the time they change it on us. So.
Yeah. So we've selected to go Sam 1 Charlie for runway 24. That's the kind of only option for us, so we're not going to be caught out. But yeah, sometimes if you're made, for example, London Heathrow or the bigger airports that you fly in and out of, where there's like parallel runways and stuff, you might set up for expecting a departure from 09 right, and then they say, yo, Bullet, you're going from 09 left on the Squeaky Weasel 1 Alpha, and you got to get in here and change it. So, all right, where are we going now, boss?
Where we're going to go here, and then we actually have a checklist, electronic checklist now for runway change. When that happens, when we're taxiing out, a lot of times they'll change the runway on us, and we'll run through it.
Copy.
But let's see, route departures, arrivals. We can put both of those in to get those set, and then
so the arrival as well, yeah.
Done. Yeah, we'll put the arrival in also.
Okay.
What we're expecting.
All right, so we are expecting the ILS for 26 left. So we'll go ILS 26 left, and it is the DSIG 1 Golf arrival that we are expecting at this time. So we'll go ahead and execute that. And
the flow you do is usually runway, SID, transition. And
runway, SID, transition, roger.
Yeah, that gives you all the options. Make sure you don't miss anything.
Okay, so I think the transition, so we're probably not going to fly all the way to Willow. Timber is the transition before that, so I'm going to select Timber, and we can change that en route if that. But usually I've done this arrival hundreds of times, and usually we just get as far as Midhurst, and then they give us vectors to leave Midhurst, and then they'll actually fly us into the ILS. Yeah,
I see the way you did it. You executed, and then you went and got the transition. So what we would do is actually get the runway again, runway, SID, transition, then execute.
Runway, SID, transition, then execute, roger.
Yeah, that way it pulls up all the waypoints and puts them together for you. That's the most reliable way to get an accurate program.
Copy. I've noticed the brake sources came back on again, but the PSI is still more than 3,000. Should I grab that switch?
Nah, it's saying 3,000, that's good. That's a simism. Brake source won't come on until around 1,600 PSI.
Copy. God damn it, PMDG, sort it out! I want my money back. I want my money back, god damn it. Alright, departure arrivals have done, boss. Where do we go next?
Let's see, departures, arrivals, and the box is basically done. So we can get our performance data, and then after we get performance data for that runway, we are ready to go through our briefing.
Holy fuck no, don't use that, man.
104 Pyromaniacs joined us, some goddamn maniac. Welcome. Welcome, everybody,
Pyro.
guys. Good to see you. Sorry I can't keep up with the chat. Right, so we're on our perf init page at the moment.
Yeah, we usually leave that blank until we're getting ready to push, or just after push. That's when all the baggage smashers get their final cargo numbers in the system, and then we get our final weights, and that's when we do our performance initiation
Okay, so we are pretty much done on the, like, that's all been done. The aircraft is pretty much loaded, mate. We've got all the passengers on, all the cargo's on as well. It's just waiting for us to shut the doors and start going
Then
somewhere.
that's what we would say is our final weights then, and so then that's not going to change on us. So yeah, we can start doing whatever performance programming you want to do.
Copy that. All right, let's let me get the doors closed. So again, a bit of simism, a bit of wizardry. We just click on zero fuel weight, and it auto-populates that for us when we click on it again. So our zero fuel weight is 207.8 tons, giving us a gross weight of 231.5 tons with the fuel. And we have 7.9 tons of fuel, which is good. We talked about that earlier on. In fact, I'll let you take over, Jim. Can you tell the guys how you like to operate with regards to reserve fuel and your alternate?
Yeah, we have there's about 10 different rules that you can have international for fuel, but I boil it all the way down to I want to be over my alternate with 1 hour worth of fuel left, with realistically whatever my weight is. That gives you enough options to run any checklist that might happen. Say you're over your alternate and you put the gear down, you have a gear unsafe or something. It gives you enough fuel to do the go around, get out to a hold, run the checklist for whatever problem you have, and then come back around and do your landing. So that's basically 1 hour worth of fuel on the airplane. And then you back up from there. Your alternate, say, is 3,000 pounds from wherever you're primarily flying to. So that's,
Yeah, we're off to Manchester.
Fuel is 10,000 pounds. And then another 3,000 pounds for the alternate. And then wherever your fuel burn is from destination or departure to destination, and then another couple thousand pounds on top of that for anything that unusual that comes up.
Can you remember off the top of your head what the maximum landing weight is?
Oh, good God, no. 777 max landing. But I do have my flight manual right here.
Nice. It's probably it's probably more than our gross weight at the moment, because we're only taking like 23 tons of fuel. So. Alright, so we have our cruise altitude set in here. Cost index, we're going for 169er with the 7.9 on the reserves, and the cruise CG is 7.5. Are you happy to accept these numbers?
Oh, standby one. I was looking in the manual. Yeah, accept. That's fine.
Alright, numbers have been accepted. So from here we go, the next step is onto the thrust limiting page. And this is where we can come to our EFB and get our performance calculation. So I'll go to, and again, this will be a simism that's probably different from what you're used to.
Yeah, anywhere from like 35 to 55 Celsius that we'll put in for our reduced thrust takeoff.
Copy. Alright, so we just check that the this is all set. Runway ID is going to be runway 24. We can import the sorry, on you go.
For everybody in the stream, what we do is reduce thrust takeoffs a lot of time, where we don't use the full thrust of the engine, so we don't run it up to its max power. That doesn't run it up to its highest temperatures, which extends the engine life of the basically extends the engine life. So we'll do reduced thrust takeoffs almost all the time, and we'll calculate it down to every runway how much power we need to be able to have our single engine have an engine fail at V1 and still do the single engine procedure. And so let's reduce down a good amount, and we do it by telling the engines that the outside air temperature is actually higher than what it is.
Yeah.
And so we use the assumed temp, and by doing that, it reduces the engine thrust to a good amount, and that extends the engine's time on the wing thousands of hours. If you don't take them all the way up to their max EGT, that really extends the turbine life.
So we have done our performance calculations, as you can see on the stream here, Jim, and it's telling us that we have a temperature selection of 64 degrees Celsius.
We are a light airplane going
there is
short route.
There is no takeoff D rating, and it's given us the optimum flaps of flaps 5. N1 on takeoff is going to be 87.5, trim set to 4.82, V1 is going to be 149, V rotate 154, and V2 160 on a climb out, with an approach VREF expected of 143, giving us a weight of 407 pounds. That all make pretty much sense to you?
Yep, that looks good. And sometimes, yeah, Elliot Smith asked, do we ever go max thrust? And yeah, if there's wind shear expected, or if we got big gusty winds going on, a lot of times we'll just do max thrust just to minimize our time on the runway. And that gives us lower numbers, the V1, VR, and V2 numbers also. So just basically wind shear precaution type stuff. We'll go with the max thrust. And if we're doing a long range flight, we will be using max thrust to get off those runways.
Now,
and then you have the climb 1, climb 2, and climb. If you're going to be leveling off on your departure, a lot of times we'll let it stay at climb 1 or climb 2. If not, we'll usually just take it back to climb.
Copy. Well, I think the restriction for us on a departure is 6,000 feet for quite a while, but because there's no ATC, we could just send it all the way. But I think maybe for this demonstration, because we've got you on board, Bullet, I think it would be quite nice and quite prudent to just fly the full procedure as published in the chart. So should we just leave it on climb 2 and stick with the published restrictions? All right, perfect.
The reduced thrust temp around 42, 45 degrees gives you basically a thrust reduction of nothing at climb. So if you had climb thrust set in there and it's at 64 degrees right now, we'd actually have a thrust increase when it engages, because that's reduced is so high.
Some goddamn disrespectful buster named, I don't even know how you pronounce that, Commie1 says that I heard.
I don't know who that is.
I don't know, dude. Do you know what? Actually, I think I remember reading about that guy in the paper. He says, I heard Bullet always uses max thrust in the bedroom. What have you got to say to that, Bullet?
Well, if you signed up and you still were on my paid website, Commie, you'd know that.
Good to see you again, Commie.
Come on, man.
I hope you're well, mate. Right, so we have the thrust limiter, so the next page for us is takeoff. Tell us about that, Bullet.
One more time, sorry.
We've done our thrust limiter, so we're now on the takeoff page.
Let's see. We should be able to put CG and flaps in there. Flaps 5 and whatever your CG is.
So I think this will auto-populate.
The load.
Yeah, 29.2 gives us a trim of 4.75, which doesn't actually match what the trim on here says. So I'm not sure. Again, this will probably be a bit of a cynicism, but the trim on the performance calculator says 4.82. The trim on the FMC with a CG of 29% says 4.75.
We usually, when we're putting in these things manually, we use the percentage CG, put that in. Whatever that trim generates in the FMC, that's what we'll use on the airplane.
Copy. All right, so we have 2 pages on here on the takeoff ref. If I go to the next page, quite a lot of stuff that I'm going to be honest, I don't really ever change, and this is probably just like the sim pilot, not the. I don't know what's the real pilot behavior on this second page.
Oh, takeoff ref. That's the engine out altitude. This stuff will normally propagate for us with our data link.
Copy.
But we have an engine out procedures for every runway. We have an altitude acceleration for the engine failure. We'll put that in. Then the acceleration height will be 3,000 feet because we're doing ICAO, I imagine, out of here. And then thrust reduction will be 1,500 feet.
Roger. So put the winds in. It knows which runway we're on, so it's telling us that. Oh, that's quite clever. It's telling us what the headwind versus the crosswind component is on the runway. Ref OAT, is that just what the real OAT is, or is this something to do with flex temp again?
Don't ever use that. I don't know.
Okay, no worries. All right, so we go back to index. We've done the thrust limiter, the takeoff, and so that's us until we get to the approach page. So would that be us done with the init, and we're starting to do something else now?
The takeoff page, again, you can put in the engine out. Usually we do it at 800 feet if there's no special engine out procedure for us.
Okay, where's that? Is that the EO Axel?
Takeoff page,
yep.
Page 2.
Yep.
EO acceleration height, 800.
Okay, we'll pop 800 in there. And would these be things? Would these be numbers that would change company specific? Like, so British Airways might do a different number from your airline.
Yeah, each airline has its own specific procedures for engine failures around airports. Acceleration height 3,000 feet, thrust reduction 1,500. I'll be back in 1 minute.
Take your time. Acceleration height 3,000. Did he say thrust reduction 100? Is that what he said? Art of stuttering. I don't think it's that important. Then if he doesn't know how to do it, if he doesn't use it, then I don't think we have to worry about it. So Windows was telling me that it's a click spot just above the window thing. I think that opens the window. I don't. Where is it? Windows. To move the EFB up. He was saying higher. This moves. I don't know what this does. Oh, that's the window thing. When are we playing Euro Truck Simulator 2 so we can talk shit about trucks? That would maybe be a good stream, Windows. I'll get a fellow truck driver on and we can maybe do an ETS stream. But there is a click spot somewhere around about here where you can move the EFB. There it is there. So you can move the EFB up to here. So there's 3 click spots. So there's one here for getting up there. You can move it to there. Or you can click on the Boeing logo and move it into the middle. And that's the most handy position for putting stuff into the FMC. Welcome back, sir. Okay, we have done... So yeah, that's what I wanted you to have a look at. The thrust reduction. So we have acceleration, engine out, Excel 800, acceleration height 3,000, thrust reduction. What did you say there? Did I hear you say 100 feet?
1,500 feet.
1,500, right, okay.
For thrust reduction, yeah.
Copy. Alright, so are you happy with these figures, sir?
Yep, that looks good.
Perfect. Right, so I'm assuming that's us done with init ref for now.
Yeah, everything else in the box looks pretty good. Right now you go to navrad if you needed to have any raw data put in for your engine out procedures.
Yep.
I don't... let me look. I don't have any stuff for this airport.
That's okay. So
we'll
we can come up and
straight ahead runway heading. Are there any big
yeah.
around
We have any emergency, we'll just chuck it. We're probably light enough. Did you find out what the maximum landing weight was?
Oh, no.
No.
Stand
Okay,
by.
no worries. Right. So while you're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and just start looking at the MCP while you're doing that.
Okay.
So I just want to check the departure heading. I think that's runway heading, which is...
let's see, max landing weight, 554.
554, but that's pounds, isn't it?
Yeah, 500,554.
Gotcha.
554.0.
554.0, roger. Right, so we come up and look at the MCP. We want to put V2 into the speed, yeah?
Yep.
So V2 was 160. Now I need to confirm. I need to click on these numbers to make them on the FMC.
Yeah,
to
they're
get them
small right
accepted in.
now.
Yeah,
if those are the same numbers as you have in your performance, you can just click on them and make them big.
Okay, we have big numbers. That's how we roll, Jim. We're all about big numbers. So I got 160 V2 selected. We'll go ahead and take 6,000 on the MCP for the climb out altitude. And the heading is so straight ahead initially on runway heading. I believe it's 242 degrees. I will quickly recheck that before we get going. Can we go LNAV and VNAV? We can. So LNAV and VNAV are both armed, and both auto throttles are armed as well. Where are we going next, Jim?
That all looks good. You know what? We could do our briefing now. Airplane's basically done. We got all our performance. And then if you want, I can run through my captain brief real quick. And then we can turn the seatbelt sign on and get ready to push.
Yeah, so just bear with me 1 second. I am just going to... So what is the overhead item that we need for the trim? Is that the... Is that... Which hydraulic is that? Is that Charlie 1 or Charlie 2, or is it one of the other ones?
I believe that's the center system hydraulics to do that.
So again, the rotary switch.
Push. We call it people pumps people. So the first people is the air. Make sure we have the APU on and we're cooling off the cabin. And then the pumps are the all the fuel pumps on that we have fuel in, so it's just the wing tanks. And then all hydraulics to auto. And then The other people is a seatbelt sign. So
Copy.
people pumps people.
People pumps people. I like it. All right, I'm going to let you take over and do your captain's brief, sir. If you just want to fire away and do that.
Yeah, I'll do that, and then you can bring up the charts and that as we go through. This is the picture I sent you on Discord. If you want to throw it up, everybody can look at it really quick.
Copy,
This is
one
the briefing card that we use for our pre-flight briefing.
All right, hold on. I just want to make sure that's the only thing that I show. Just bear with me 1 second.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Otherwise, they have to pay that $19.95 a month to see those other pictures.
Exactly, yeah. All right, so I have that chart that you've sent me. It's on screen now. The discuss threats first one, yeah?
Yeah, threats is the big thing. Personal, I have never been out of this airport, so I'm going to be a student pilot. You've been out of here before. Environmental, it's a simulator. It's a lot different. Technical, we're in a simulator again. Those are the big threats that I have for it. But let's see, departure briefing, pilot duties. You're flying. I'll pretend to be talking. Release, this is the verification, make sure we're on the same flight plan as dispatch. So it's usually release 1. If dispatch changes anything, then they'll send out a release 2, and then we can just verify that we're looking at the same paperwork as they are. So that's the release verification. Fuel plan, we have a fuel planned at the gate, whatever fuel you have in tons. I don't remember what that is. And then we have a minimum fuel at the gate and then minimum takeoff fuel. And then we have taxi fuel in between those two. Maintenance status would make sure the airplane is good. We have our maintenance release document, which is basically our agreement with maintenance that the airplane's good to fly. NOTAMs, ops alerts, pilot bulletins, anything unusual with the airplane or at the airport. Let me look at NOTAMs for Edinburgh real quick.
Roger. I got to be honest, as a sim pilot, never checked a NOTAM in my life.
Yeah. Let's see, there's a steel plate on taxiway Alpha at 60 meters west of Alpha 10. 50% outage is supplementary approach lights. That's not important. Nah, there's no big NOTAMs going on right now. Let's see, taxi plan. You talked about it before. What gate are we at?
So we are at gate number 16. So the taxi plan is we're going to push back facing north onto Mike. I'm showing it on the chat now. And we're taxiing to Delta 1. So it's back onto Mike, right onto Alpha, Delta 1.
Okay, that's our taxi plan. Then hot spots, which are areas where you can maybe run into conflicts with other airplanes and that stuff. That's around Mike to Alpha. If anybody's exiting on Charlie onto there, we'll just keep an eye out for traffic. RTO and evac. All right, so rejected takeoff. Below 100 knots is our low speed regime. If anything unusual comes up, if anybody sees it, just announce it clearly, and I'll make a decision on it to either reject the takeoff or continue. Whatever it is, if you see it, just announce it. I will probably just do the normal takeoff profile. We'll take care of whatever it is in the air, but I'll make a decision on it really quick. 100 knots and above is high-speed regime. We're only going to abort if we have a engine failure, if there's a fire on board, if the aircraft is unsafe, unable to fly. If I do the rejected takeoff, I'll bring throttles idle, reversers, spoiler, and then just MAV, pretend you're the FO right now. If you see rejected takeoff or RTO brakes gets disengaged for any reason, just kind of yell that out, and I'll just go manual braking, and we'll take it from there. Once we get to 80 knots, I have you do the 80 knot call out. I'll start coming out of reverse. And then at that time, I'll have you talk to the tower, tell them we're rejecting the takeoff. We're going to stop on the runway. We'll get back to them in a few minutes. If they ask for crash fire rescue, yeah, we'll get crash fire rescue. And then have you make an announcement to the people. We'll initially tell them to stay seated so they don't start the evacuation on us. If things deteriorate and it looks bad, we'll come together, talk about it real quick. If we decide to do the evacuation, we have a quick reference checklist to do the evacuation. Have you pull that out, read that, and do that. And let's see, that's it for RTO and evac. Air return, back to here, or we can just work our way all the way to London. Doesn't really matter. Electronic devices, personal electronic devices, just make sure they're muted. Current pubs, we have those. That's our pre-flight. And then the pilot flying, that's going to be you, Mav.
Yep.
We've got our second half of the card there. You can review that. You already started talking about departure clearance.
Yeah, so I'm just tuning the ground frequency now. I'm getting that card back up. There it is there. Yeah, so departure, I've just tuned the ground frequency to get that Weather and wind shear. So the weather's quite pedestrian. We're not anticipating any wind shear or any adverse weathers on the way out. The planned takeoff data. Is that so? I'll tell you what. Just pretend you're
that's
the
our
pilot.
runway.
You just
I'll
take
do
this
it,
bit.
it's
Yeah.
fine. Planned takeoff. We're reduced on runway 24, flaps 5. Engine failure profile on that runway. If we have the engine failure at or after V1, we'll just track runway centerline or get back to runway centerline. What you call rotate, I'll rotate to about 9 degrees, positive rate, call gear up, and then I'll have you heading select me to runway centerline. We'll track that out up to 800 feet, and then accelerate, clean up the flaps. Then we're up to 1,500 feet. At that point, we'll hit flitch to finish, and we can start taking turns to work our way back to the airfield. Somewhere at that point, I'll give you the airplane, have you fly the airplane, take the radios, and I'll start working whatever checklist we have. Departure review, we're planning LNAV and VNAV, doing the GOSM 1 Charlie departure. That's over Edinburgh. You said 6,000 to 2,300. Top of that is at 6,000 feet at GOSM, and then we can continue our climb from there. See, terrain obstacles, nothing significant around here. Displays and automation, we've got a lot of that. We'll get the weather radar on when we get close to the runway. Transition altitude out of this airport.
6,000 feet.
6,000, yeah, 6,000 feet is our transition. Upset, this is if we have an unusual attitude. This is our upside down crazy training that we do.
Well, we got Commie and Lozzie in here, so we definitely have some upset altitudes.
Oh yeah, it's going to be very upsetting. But if we have an upset, the first thing we do is push, which we basically reduce the G load on the airplane to like 0.8, 0.9 Gs. Roll, make sure we get wings level, thrust wherever we need it, and then finally stabilize, get back to a normal attitude. So anybody calls it if we get into an unusual attitude, and we call upset. And that's it. That's all I have for our pre-flight briefing.
Fantastic, sir. Thank you. All right, I'll go ahead and call ground, and we'll get the clearance.
Yeah, seatbelt sign on, and before we do that, let's do.
Come 53, Roger. Yeah, take a left on Golf, then join.
Sorry, Sig. I've turned the seatbelt sign on. That's on.
Okay, and then let's do pre-flight checklist, and then we can call for push.
Copy. Stand by. All right. We don't have a. Oh no, we do actually. Hold on. Pre-flight. So oxygen is on. Flight instruments are all set. Checklist complete. Or are you talking about something else?
Seatbelt sign actually to on. It's just auto right now.
Ah, copy. Yeah, well spotted. Seatbelt sign to on.
And we have a before push, but I guess you'd have you don't have that. Okay.
Yeah, so we have, I was wondering, so we got before start and before taxi, so I'm going to imagine before taxi is the before push. So before start is done, the next one is the before taxi, anti-ice
that's
recall.
After we, before taxis after we push back. So.
Copy. Alright, so ready to call for start now?
Let's call for push.
Copy, alright, stand by. We'll just quickly check.
Just in captain mode here, so.
Yeah, speedbelt 870, sorry, should be good to go. Stuart 870, stand 16. Your push and start is approved. Caution, the 777 BA on your right just pushed off stand 15.
Roger, push start approved. Caution, 777 on my right. Speedbelt 8.
This guy's inside me. Ground, a very good evening. Speedbird 777 with you, but also on stand 16, and we feel very violated that Speedbird 870 has violated our personal space. We're with you with information India, and we're ready for our clearance to London Gatwick.
Speedbird 777, Edinburgh, hello, you're cleared Gatwick, Gotham 1 Charlie departure, squawk 7501.
Cleared to Gatwick, Gotham 1 Charlie 7501 in the box for Speedbird 777.
Speedbird 777, read back correct.
Okay, so we have the clearance. I'm surprised they actually gave that guy his clearance, because he's literally sitting in the same gate. I hate it when people do that, dude. It's like you load in and you're on the same gate as someone else. Why would you not just change it, go to a different stand, dude, or wait? But no, that guy's loaded up his whole flight, done his pushback and everything while he's inside our aircraft. But never mind, this is VATSIM, and
Hey, you know,
That
we like
happens.
playing with 12-year-olds on the internet. It's
Yeah,
fine.
why not, dude? It never, I mean, that's never hurt anybody. That may be too soon with a doctor disrespect joke, but yeah, we're out and about. So I'm going to make sure that the squat code is set, and so you and TA only to start with, or do you go straight in for TA, Ari?
TA, we just go to we just go to transponder on the ground. Once we're
Copy.
cleared onto the
But
active
5-3
runway,
Delta
we
requesting
do our
taxi.
final items. We'll go to TA.
Stewart 5-3 Delta, taxi
Roger.
Holland Point Delta 1, runway 24 via Lima and Alpha.
That minimizes the amount of data link usage.
Holland Point Delta 1
Transponder
for runway
system
24 via Lima and Alpha, Stewart 5 Delta.
Big airports.
Alright, our push and start is just about to commence. Ground Speedbird 777 from stand 16, we're ready for push and start 1011.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for
Speedbird
pushback.
777, hold position. I know you felt violated, but I will just wait for that Speedbird behind you to push.
Well,
Okay, sir,
actually,
we will
do the
take deep
start
breaths
on
and
pushback.
hold position,
If
Speedbird
the ramp is wet
777.
at all, we'll wait till the pushback is
You're a good man.
start engines.
Comet 5-3, there's nothing further, I'm afraid. Monitor Unicom 122.8, enjoy your flight.
Departure checks completed. Bypass
Bro, how is he doing that already?
EC4 Tango Delta stand to 0, request position start. EC4 Tango Delta stand to 0, pushing
Oh, holy
start
shit, there's a
approved.
C-17 taxi now.
Facing west, EC4 Delta.
Oh my god, that's legitimately someone in a C-17. That's not any model mismatching, guys. That is legitimately a C-17 Globemaster taxi.
locking gear.
That is awesome.
Speedbird 870, request taxi.
Speedbird 870, taxi Holland Point Delta 1, runway 24 via Mike and Alpha.
Taxi Holland Point Delta 1, runway 24 via Mike and Alpha and other aviation. Not be violated anymore, I'm left or rear.
Cabin ready. Make sure all the passengers are down.
Speedbird 777, once the company 777 is clear from behind, stand 16, push and start is approved.
Okay, waiting for the company to clear and we'll push. Are we okay for north on Mike, Speedbird 777?
Yeah, no problem.
Copy, we'll take north on Mike once the traffic is clear, Speedbird 777. Okay, so...
Stewart 5-3 Delta, there's nothing further, Monitor Unicom 122.8, enjoy your flight. 122.8, good evening, Stewart 5 Delta.
Ground connections, remove chocks.
Release parking brakes, please.
Okay, we're just waiting for the traffic to clear. We'll release the parking brake and then we can go, and it looks like they are just getting out the way. I've got an EasyJet pushing. He's probably getting told to hold though, but we're going to go for it now. I'll just release the brakes and we're going
Commencing push.
aft onto Mike.
All engines clear. Start at will.
Nose wheel steering tiller, we make sure that that's cleared. There's no obstructions. I see the electronic checklist next to it, but our
Yeah.
electronic flight bag, it's
God damn it, PMDG.
we've had problems before. Headsets or other stuff gets tangled around there, and the pushback crew tries to move the airplane, and that thing starts fighting back.
Roger.
Stewart 870, nothing further, Monitor Unicom 122.8, have a good flight, bye-bye.
Okay, dude, we're pushing back. Do you want to talk us through the engine start procedure?
Engine start on here is as long as the auto start is enabled. All you do is turn the start switch to start, and then it does all the bleed valves for you.
Copy. So you mentioned about people pumps people. Is there anything else I need to do before I select the start on the left engine?
No, that took care of it.
Copy. Alright, what I'll do first then is I'll just get the engine on the lower ICAS. We'll go ahead and...
Sorry, the people pumps was all fuel pumps and the wing tanks on, and all the hydraulic pumps to auto.
Copy. Alright,
We should have done that before push.
no worries. Let me just find the engine page here. I can't really read the writing. I should just zoom in and stop being an idiot.
Yeah, it's up higher. It's boxed
That's it, I see
engine.
it. I see it. Got it. Engine. Right. So up top. Oh, God damn it! I can never remember which the fucking button is. Right. So pumps left. We have no fuel. So no crossfeed pumps. We don't need those. We don't have any fuel in the center tank, and we can go ahead and just take engine start for left engine.
Correct.
Okay. Starting number 1. And we're monitoring the spool up. We're looking for 25% in 2.
Yep, and then fuel on. We have a thing that sometimes happens in the 777, if you start engines up and then you have a big delay, you shut engines down and expecting a big delay, and all of a sudden they tell you to start your engines back up and start taxiing. The auto start will have a problem with it if it's like less than 10 or 15 minutes after you shut down, because the engine's really warm.
Yeah.
And the EGT will actually be above still like 200 degrees when you're starting it up again. Old airplanes like 767 had a limitation on there. You had to motor the engine to cool it off enough before you put the fuel back on. The auto start isn't that smart, so you actually need to motor these engines to make sure the EGT cools off enough.
Yeah.
Before you put the fuel on, because once the fuel's on, the auto start will decide when to actually put the fuel on and how much to put in and meter it. But
EC4, it's Tango Delta, we're ready for taxi.
GT on start.
EC4, Tango Delta, taxi holding point Delta 1, runway 24 via Golf Lima and Alpha.
And when the auto start switch returns to normal,
On the Delta 1, runway 24 via Golf Lima Alpha, EC4, it's Tango Delta.
Out, and the bleeds are available for the next engine.
Copy. Alright, starting number 2. And what I'll do is I'll just switch to the external view so the guys can hear the engine spool up once we get through 25%.
It's a big fan.
It's a big ass fan. Alright, here comes 25%. And we'll jump out to external view.
Please set parking brakes.
RTO should be engaged at this point also.
Copy. Sorry, Jim, just bear with me 1 second. Just we can't really hear you well on the other side. 1 second.
Unlocking gear.
Alright, both engines are running. I forgot to turn the beacon light on before we go anywhere.
50 Zulu.
Red flashing.
Runway in use 24. Transition level, flight level 75. Surface winds 260 degrees, 11 knots. Visibility 10 kilometers.
Hold on a second, mate. My radios are doing crazy things. I just got the ATIS coming through automatically there. I did not program it. That was pretty cool. 121755. Right, so you said about RTO at this point, yeah?
Yeah, we should have had that at the gate. That's pre-flight flow of the FO.
Yeah.
So I missed that one.
That's all good. One 21755 back on the ground.
So now, one very important thing that we do is that the FO can start the engines at this point. The captain, they're just sitting on their hands. They're not going to do anything until they get the salute and release some guidance from the taxi crew.
Copy. He's just giving me that right now.
Who was the last guy that did it? I think it was Delta 747. They decided to taxi when the pushback crew was still connected.
Oh.
So you make sure you get the salute and release from them before you do anything. Then now we call for, okay, after start. And that would be flaps 5, and then we'll do a flight control check. And then,
Copy. So I've still got to get my hydraulics on. Should I go ahead and do all that now?
Yeah. The hydraulics should be in auto.
Sorry, I didn't do that before the
should
start.
auto.
Yeah, sorry, that's on me. That is on me. All right, everything's on. I have no lights. Everything's on. It should be on.
Good. Flaps 5.
Flaps 5.
And
check.
then we can do a flight control check.
So do you bring up something on one of the screens for this?
Yeah, Captain brings up the flight controls on his screen, and he does the flight controls.
Okay, and which one is that? That is FCTL, yeah, flight controls. All right, so I have them up. Do you want to talk us through how you guys do this in real life?
Yeah, just left, and then flight controls.
Okay, full left.
And the ailerons left and right is kind of normal speed, but when you're moving the tail feathers, they are so big, you actually move them nice and slow. Otherwise, they'll bang around and they'll actually move the whole airplane around a little bit.
Holy shit.
Move the controls too fast. Next time you're in an airliner, you can kind of feel the guys moving the flight controls if they're doing a little bit too fast.
Right. Alright, flight controls, look good, feel good. That one nav here, don't I? Where is nav?
Very nice. Now we can shut down the APU and do the after start checklist.
Copy. APU is powering down. After start checklist. Let's say, let me get that back up 1 sec. Back off GSX. I think this is the before taxi one. So I've got anti-ice recall, auto brake, flight control. So we've done flight control, so ground equipment is clear. We've not recalled yet. Anti-ice, we're taking that's just make sure that's an auto. Anti-ice, I've got wing anti and auto, left and right engine are both an auto. Alright, the recall button, you said to me on the stream the other day, that's on the right hand side somewhere. It's quite a small little button.
At this point, every ICAS message should be off, except for TCAS. So that's our recall.
Alright, so we've got doors to manual, parking, passenger signs on, parking brake set, auto brake RTO, APU cool down. So I think I need to go into, this is a simism. This would be something you would get the ground crew to do. Yeah, doors to all. So arm all doors. And now the doors message is cleared. Alright, Captain, I think we are ready to taxi.
Alright, call for taxi.
Copy. Ground Speedbird 777, we're ready to taxi runway 24.
Stuart 777 taxi holding point Delta 1 runway 24 via Mike and Alpha.
Delta 1, Mike and Alpha for Speedbird 777. Okay, brakes release time is 21:16. Okay, so we're moving.
Yeah, clear left. Okay, look there, and then FO would say clear right. Make sure nobody's underneath the wings or in front of it. Every time we turn left or right, someone looks out and makes sure they call it clear.
Copy. Now my track IR shit the bed. Normally I would always be flying with track IR on, but as soon as I started to stream, track IR decided to quit on me, so my track IR is not working, so I'm just going to have to use the mouse look to look around and stuff.
Old school.
Old school. It sucks because when I'm using the mouse to look around, I can't use the rudder pedals. So I've got to choose one view and then use the pedals. God damn simisms. Shut up, Danny!
Stooge, you'd be proud of you. Just using the old keypad.
Sadly, we're not flying over Petticoat Bay, Darren. We're going off at runway 24, brother. It's runway 06. So guys, just a quick reminder, Bullet is a captain on the 787, but he has over 6,500 hours flying 777, so he's a real 777 pilot as well. If you have any questions for him, please don't hesitate to pop them in the chat and I will pass them on to him. Unsuitable says, isn't rejected take on after push disconnected and the pin is removed. 122 decimate for us, Speedbird 777, thanks for your help.
What they decide to do, for my airline, we always get RTO and gate, or RTO armed at the gate before we push.
So sorry, I was over talking you there as I was talking to the ATC. So basically, Bullet's saying it's SOP specific for the airline that you're flying for.
Yeah. Long airplane, make sure you oversteer for the taxiways.
Yeah, A-firm, we're looking good. Okay, so there's no tower controller on at the moment. So essentially, we have our takeoff clearance, Bullet. So do you want to talk us through what we're looking to do now?
We're usually wait until we're out of the ramp area. Once we're on a taxiway, then we'll do the before takeoff checklist.
Okay, we're ready for that. If you want to come at me.
Yeah, there should be an electronic checklist.
All right, one sec. Okay, before takeoff checklist, just the flaps. Pretty quick checklist. I'm sure there's something a bit more than you do in real life.
Yeah, we run through the performance, look at everything, but each airline has its own thing. This is your airline. Copy.
All right, so we'll turn then the transponder onto TARA.
Yeah, that would be we call it the final items on our before takeoff, which would be make the announcement for the passengers, transponders on, and we get our moving maps set for the right displays, for right range. 10-mile range is what we usually do for takeoff. That way we can see the runway center line we have an engine failure.
You happy for the strobe lights and the landing lights that we're fit to go on now? We're just entering the runway.
Yeah. Strobes and runway turnoff lights.
Copy. I'm just going to stop 1 second and just check the traffic, because although we've got basically we're on Unicom right now, so there might be someone coming in to land. I'm just going to quickly check.
Uncontrolled field ops, nice.
Yeah, that's it. Right, so I'll get ourselves onto Lunicom. 122.8. Checked.
Favorite airport to land at? For the airlines, that would be San Francisco, or not San Diego. San Diego landing area, one of the funnest airports. Go right over the parking lot. You actually lift your feet up and go over. You're so close to the parking garage on the arrival. Or short final, about 100 feet above the ground.
Nice. Alright, it's a good job I checked, because there actually is a Ryanair on short final, and we have Speedbird 1 Bravo coming in right behind him. We actually have a 777 coming in from Dubai behind the Speedbird, but we should get out after the second guy coming down.
Roger.
Edinburgh traffic, Speedbird 1 Bravo, established ILS 248 DME.
Edinburgh traffic, Speedbird 777, we are holding runway 24 point Delta 1 for the company traffic, and then we'll be taking the centre line for departure. Right, Ryanair's down. We're just waiting on company...
Roger, if it's useful, we're 7.2 DME out, so if you're quick you might be able to get out.
Roger that, Ryanair's on the runway, we'll just wait for you, sir, thanks.
Roger.
The traffic, Emirates 40 holding Tartan, clear follow position 2.
We're just waiting on a company 777. Company 777 positioning from Manchester. This is a massive aircraft, dude. Just dwarfs the taxiways. We actually do get a... There is an Emirates 777 that comes in here.
Okay, runway 24.
Stop dying, Mav. Yeah, we have an Emirates 777 that comes into Edinburgh, but that's probably the biggest aircraft that we get here. Yeah, I'm good, unsuitable. Thanks, man. I'm good. I just got a bit of a frog in the throat. Right, where is this guy? There he is there. You still there, Billet? Hopefully I've not muted him or anything. No, I think he may have just stepped away for a minute, guys. Hold on.
Edinburgh traffic, Speedbird 1 Bravo is 4 miles out, runway 24.
Alright, I'm back.
Welcome. Sorry, all the noise. I didn't hear you say you were going away. Sorry, mate. So, a couple of questions for you. The Oracle Apex on YouTube asks, have you ever flown the approach into St. Martin? And Officer Marconi on Twitch says, is there ever turbulence or landing or in flight? I think that's a question for me on the sim. Yeah, you can definitely get turbulence. Ever flown to St. Martin, Jim?
No, I haven't done St. Martin. Maui is a good one for island hopping. It's a short runway and it's usually really windy there. I've got a good DC-10 story for that. But
nice.
No, haven't been to St. Martin. How long until we can line up and wait?
We've just got this guy's just a short flight, literally half a mile from the runway, and then that's us.
I'll save my story for once we're fine. We have our sterile cockpit which is whenever we're taxiing on the ground, whenever we're parking brakes off and we're moving, that's sterile cockpit's only required between comms. Then below 18,000 feet is our other sterile part. We only just talk about essentials.
Thank you so much,
After that,
Amundos.
we just say shit and fucker.
Please don't say fucker bugger.
That one. I am drinking beer, so you know this is
God
standard
damn it, Jim.
ops for me.
Alright, park and brake off.
I am old enough, Darren, from the Bay.
Jim is in his late 20s. His very late 20s. Alright, strobe on. Landing lights on. Runway turns are on. We are entering the runway.
I'll say this about my age. At my airline, there are only 4 people that are senior to me that are younger than me.
Oh. Okay, Bullet, we have the centre line. Do you guys put the parking brake on?
If we're clear for takeoff, we'll just leave the brakes released and we'll just do a rolling takeoff.
Right,
Kind of a traffic, Speedbird 1, Bravo, runway etiquette.
Edinburgh traffic, Speedbird 777, we are departing runway 24. Okay, alright, we're ready to go. Any final remarks? I know it's 40% on N1 and then Toga. You got anything else to add?
No, everything looks good. Let's go.
Copy. Alright, you guys ready in the back? Here we go. 3, 2, 1, 40%. And Toga. Airspeed's building. 80 knots. 100 knots.
V1.
Rotate. We are airborne. Positive climb. Gear up. How quickly do you normally take the autopilot on, Jim?
I'll climb up to like 18, 20,000 and I usually turn it on.
Nice.
It varies with everybody. Usually around above 10,000 where most of us do it.
Copy. Okay, gears up.
I like flying airplanes, so I'll take it up to like 18, 20,000. And then
Roger.
Descending, when I'm on base leg, I'll usually disengage the autopilot at that point. Depends how busy it is in the terminal area.
Sketsy says it's clip o'clock, Roger, brother. Okay, we're through our acceleration altitude. Speed checks for flaps 1, flaps 1. Okay, I'm going to get the autopilot on just so we can concentrate on chatting.
Sounds good.
Command Alpha. And checks for flaps up, flaps up. Unsuitable asks, can you explain for us the ETP and how it works on the 777? Are you talking about the, what are you talking about this, the electronic flight board or something else? What have you?
Glasgow traffic, Shield 3 Delta, fully established, ILS 2310 miles, Glasgow traffic.
The equal time point, he's asking. Hey, T Kettle.
Oh, okay. Those are decision points going to Oceanic. Is that what he's asking? Equal time point, yeah. That's where we will, for ETOPS planning over the ocean, if our or ETOPS alternate airports, it's a decision point where we decide to go to one airport or another. Basically is predicated on how long it takes to fly there with the current winds that you would have if you had an engine failure. So it'd be the winds roughly at mid-20s that they would look at to decide that number.
Roger. We're just admiring the awesome scenery on departure here.
Yeah, equitime points are important, but even more important are, oh shoot, I forgot the term for them now. It's the point in the ocean where it's your most critical point for fuel, which would actually be a cabin depressurization is the worst scenario you can have over the water for fuel, because you have to go down to 10,000 feet with 2 engines running and then fly somewhere and not run out of gas. And so that is actually a fuel limitation we have flying across the water in some places, where you have to put on enough gas to be able to have that scenario happen. And one of the worst points to have that actually happen is between Hawaii and, well, actually, that's not the worst one. But that is one of them. It's between Hawaii and the West Coast. If you have a pressurization failure halfway between, you have to put on extra gas on the airplane to just make sure you can get back to an airport.
Okay, so after takeoff checklist, the landing gear and flaps are both up, and it's just the descent checklist next. So we're flying the SID, where normally we would be climbing, air traffic control would like clear us higher, or if there was no ATC by now I would start to be climbing to the cruise, but because we're being joined by our real 777 pilot, we're just going to fly the full procedure. So we're holding at 6,000, but I have the MCP primed with 35,000, which is our cruise altitude down to London Gatwick. So basically we're just going to leave the aircraft to do its thing. So am I right in saying that once we get to the point on the legs page, Jim, where the aircraft commands the climb, now that I have 35 set on the MCP, it will just start climbing on its own?
Yeah, that would be called our the clearance we'd have would be climb via and whatever.
And after 10.0,
Via the Dawson 1 Charlie. They say climb 2350, climb via the Gossam 1 Charlie.
Copy.
So 350 in the MCP is good, and VNAV will stop us at 6,000, then we can continue our climb.
Roger. Alright, I just want to try and quickly change something on my sounds bullet, because unfortunately my sound controls have you and the air traffic control on like the same sound channel, so if someone's talking too loud on the ATC, the guys in the stream can't hear you. So just give me a little minute, brother. I'm going to try and work that out, and I'll be right back with you in a little minute.
Yeah, crossing the pond is complicated. There's a lot of requirements that we have. One of the most challenging flights that I've been doing lately is Washington Dulles down to South Africa. That's 15 plus hours and going down the South Atlantic and right down the middle of the Atlantic. We will be 800, 1,000 miles away from the nearest airport and 800 miles away from the next nearest airplane. It's a very thin route. Not a lot of people fly it. And yeah, you are far away from everything when you're doing that. Everything we do at the airline, all our procedures and that stuff are basically set up to handle any kind of failure, single point failure that would happen. Most specifically an engine, but also pressurization failure at any point. When we're flying like New York to New Delhi into India, we actually fly over the Himalayas, and we have escape procedures, routes that we have on, or going over the mountains there. We have certain routes that we fly. If we have a pressurization failure, we can't go down to 10,000 feet because some of the terrain there is in the 15 or 20,000 foot altitude. So we have to do certain routes down valleys and that stuff using our FMCs. We'll have to reprogram for a pressurization route that we would do. So over Greenland is another one. The ice sheets over Greenland are up above 10,000 feet. The mountaintops are 15, 16,000 feet in some areas there. So we have depressurization routes over Greenland that we have to mess with anytime we're going over to Europe from the States. We update the winds in the FMC 0400, 2200, and 1600. See, once that passes, we update.
Okay, brother, I'm back, and I'm pretty sure I've got the volume stuff sorted out, so I should be able to turn ATC down while turning you up.
Let's see, we were talking about airports flying out of St. Martin. I haven't done that, but Maui. When I first started the airline, we had DC-10s. I was an engineer at DC-10, and we would fly from Maui to San Francisco or LA. And every time out of Maui, we were at max weight because the runway is short. And they would put all the people on, and they put all the cargo on that they could. And then any weight that they had left over, performance-wise, they would fill the airplane with pineapples. We had crates and crates of pineapples on the ramp there that they couldn't get out in time. And so they would fill the airplane up, and we would plan the performance of the airplane to take off with like a 25-knot headwind. And we would get out on the runway and wait for the tower to see the gusting wind hit 25 knots, and then they would clear us for takeoff. We'd sit there for like 5 minutes sometimes, just waiting for the wind to pick up enough so we could take off legally.
Holy shit. What aircraft's this in?
That was the DC-10.
Damn.
And they could never get all the pineapples out, so they had these things just sitting on the ramp, and they would give the flight crew and the flight attendants as many pineapples as we wanted. They would just give them away, and we would just stuff all of the closets full of pineapples when we're heading out of Maui. And you had it in a box with 2 pineapples in it, and I would bring back 6 or 8 of those boxes every flight, and I just hand them out to friends when I came back from Maui.
Awesome. Alright, so we started our climb, Bullet. Dark Horse Actual's asking, and I've got a feeling this might be a 787 question. He's asking, have you ever needed to use the RAT?
Raymer turbine, we have that on triple also.
On the triple also, yeah?
Yeah, I've never had it deploy. That is if you have a loss of both your, let's see, loss of your center system and the other system's hydraulics. If you have a loss of both of the electric buses for avionics, the captain's and FO's avionics bus, if they both get unpowered, it deploys, or if you deploy it manually, I think there's another reason. But yeah, RAT deploys, its primary is hydraulics, and then secondary, it will provide electrical power also, but it will sacrifice electrics just to keep your hydraulics pressurized. So that is your ultimate backup for hydraulics. This thing is the 777's fly-by-wire. I believe there is 11 power sources for your fly-by-wire system. You've got each engine-driven generator that can power their bus, and then that bus can power the flight control computers. We have a permanent magnet alternator on each engine, which is the dedicated power source for the fly-by-wire systems. Then you have the APU generator. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you have the aircraft battery, which is another one. You have the bleed air can actually run a what was it? Bleed air can run a hydraulic pump, which the actual hydraulic pump could run a generator. No, how would that work? Can't remember. We could use bleed air to produce electricity with some crazy switching in the system. Someone in the chat probably knows the system better than I do. I can't remember exactly. But we use bleed air to run the whole airplane if we really need to. And then we have each flight control computer has a battery. There's 3 of those, the 3 flight control computers. And then we have the individual ACEs. I can't remember what the ACE acronym is for, but there's 5 of those on board. Each one of those runs different portions of the flight controls, and they have their own like 11-minute battery also. So you can have massive electrical problems selecting flight controls on this airplane.
I've got a question for you. I just got an FMC caution. ALTN list uplink. I'm assuming that's alternate list uplink.
I have no idea. Show me it again.
Yeah, I'm showing you it now.
for Windows, we can use ground air to start pretty much every airliner. The 787 actually has electric start. Our generators are also starters for the engine, so we have electric. We'd have to have 2 electric sources down to the airplane to be able to start the engine at the gate with electric power.
Looks like we might be landing at night by the time we get down to London. Should be getting, the sun's just going down now, some beautiful shots out the back of the aircraft.
Which way we landed, north or east or west?
West. We'll be coming in on 26 left.
Okay, so we get to see the sun in our face.
Sun in the face!
Let's see, 777 story. I had to run a low fuel checklist on this airplane once. I didn't like that. We were doing San Fran to Washington Dulles, and we were planning to land with like 13,000 pounds of gas. Which they were pushing us to try to save money to put out a minimum amount of fuel, and that was okay for domestic, and it was supposed to be nice weather, so no alternate or anything. Then air mass thunderstorms popped up right on our arrival, and then over the airport popped up. And so we did one turn in holding, and then we went for Baltimore, which is pretty much the closest airport for us. And we got to the gate, or actually got to the ramp with 8,600 pounds. And that was enough to turn on the low fuel lights. And we had to run the checklist for low fuel, which was all pumps on, all cross feeds open, and flaps 20 for landing. And don't use high pitch angles because you get a flame out.
How far away is your microphone from your mouth, Jim?
I've got it right here. It's my headset.
Yeah, I can still hear you. Hopefully the chat
quiet?
can hear you as well. I think you're just a little bit quieter than normal. I think everybody can still hear you though. Lewis is letting us know.
Testes, 1, 2, testes.
That's a little bit better. I can hear your testes. Lewis McKenzie letting us know that there's someone right above us, also going to Gatwick. They're literally right above us. They're in a 777 as well, so I'm going to see if I can see them. They're literally right on top of us.
Well, let's punch in 0.88 and get in front of them.
Bro, I'm thinking about
8-7.
I'm thinking about Fox 2. Holy shit, dude, there he is there. He is right there. This would be an interesting problem for London Control to deal with.
About 31, 310, 300, and your max Mach is about your best true airspeed you can do if you want to try to get in front of somebody.
I think it'd be quite cool to have him in front of us. We can see him doing his thing. He'd probably be turning on the same waypoints that we are and stuff. We should be able to see that. But yeah, I've got him on the stream just now. He's his cruise, so he's at 37,000. We're going to 35. So yeah, we can deconflict there. London Control, if they're still online, they can sort us out. But yeah, he's coming all the way in from Seattle.
Seattle Gatwick, that's a good route.
Yeah. So I see if I can see him from the cockpit here. Getting the GoPro camera position. Look straight up. No, I can't see him just yet. He's a little bit. Oh, there he is. If I move to the side, I can see him when I lean way forward.
Over the Atlantic, we are just 1,000-foot separation, and we were right below somebody. Then we like go 1 mile to the right for an offset. So because GPS is so good, we don't want everybody right on top of each other in case someone has to descend or something like that. But we were close enough; you could actually take pictures of each other and airdrop them to each other.
Yeah, I've seen a video with that. I've seen a video with somebody doing that from like they're over the Pacific somewhere doing that, airdropping it in. And this guy's actually doing a delivery, simulating a delivery flight. He's going to Gatwick from Everett, Payne Airfield.
Oh, sure, yeah. The new 777, why not?
Call sign AMV. Who's that? Who's the AMV?
Cutlass was asking fuel heating at any point due to OAT. Yeah, if we're doing long-range flights, especially in the wintertime, the outside air temperatures, minus 45, minus something more Celsius, and the fuel actually gets cold, and fuel will get down to minus 30 or more. And I'm trying to remember the limits: 32, 34, minus 32, minus 34 degrees Celsius.
Hey, double.
The water suspended in the fuel can actually start freezing and can clog up your filters and stuff. That's what happened to that 777 Speedbird that had the dual engine flame out landing in London was that years ago. So the hydraulic systems actually run through the lines run through, or heat exchangers run through the fuel tanks. So hydraulic systems actually heat up the fuel. But if it starts getting too cold, we'll actually increase our Mach number to start heating up the air a little bit. It's going over the wings. And you can increase your Mach number from 0.84 to 0.85 or 0.86, and that'll be enough to heat up the wings enough so your fuel doesn't start freezing. Or you can just descend to a little lower altitude to get a little better outside air temperature. But
Do you remember
long-range flights, we look at that.
Do you remember the British Airways that crashed at Heathrow, the BA triple that because of the fuel clogged the filters?
Yeah, the ice blocked their filters. The oil to fuel heat exchanger you have on all the engines heats up the fuel enough, but those Trent's engines didn't do that enough. So
I think
I was there the day after that happened. I taxied right by him looking at him.
Nice. So I think I'm right in saying that they changed the like in the I think they redesigned that heat exchanger, but I think before they did that, like they changed the SOP so that during the descent, I don't think it was full throttle, but they had to like advance the throttles during the descent to make sure that if there was any ice kind of build up there, it was getting properly pushed through, because that was the issue with that, wasn't it? They did I can't remember what the acronym is. I think it's CDAP, Constant Descent Approach Procedures, where they basically just descended on idle all the way down from cruise, and then the first time they commanded the power, it just wasn't there because the ice build up was too much at that point.
Yeah, and so they have you increase power and level off a little bit until they can get that sorted. That would warm up the engine oil some, because you put some more power in the airplane. Warms up, heats up the engine oil, so that would help prevent that from happening.
Well, this is awesome. This guy's on the same route as, if you look now, I'm in the cockpit. We're at cruise, and he's right in front of us, bro. Where's the Fox 2 at? Somebody give me an AIM 9.
Let's start flying through his marks there a little bit, see if we get some weight.
Yeah. Let's try and refuel. Let's settle into position. Thank you so much for all the new follows, guys. Welcome. If you have any questions, we're flying with 104th Bullet, who is now a 787 captain for an American carrier, and he used to fly this 777 he's got.
Yeah, you can tell him it's United, that's fine.
Ah, cool. So he's a 787 captain for United Airlines, and he has 6,800 hours flying the 777 for United Airlines as well. It looks like this guy's going to start turning in front of us, and we're going to turn right. We're formation flying with a 777 here. Oh, definitely, Wiley. Bloody hay fever. Oh, excuse me, guys.
AIM 7 would look at such a big target, Wiley, it wouldn't know what to do. We do get the radar altimeter going off. The guys fly underneath you at 2,000 or 1,000 feet. It's enough for the radar altimeter to say 2,500 feet.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it happens a lot.
So, Dobbo on YouTube saying a BA 777 bound for Vancouver had an aborted takeoff today at Gatwick due to hot brakes. 23 flights cancelled and 16 inbounds diverted. So did I take it they stopped on the runway then?
Aborted takeoff for hot brakes. That's a little bit odd. There must be more to it than that.
The Q on YouTube is asking, how close would you have to be to this other 777 to get some kind of conflict warning?
The TARA stuff would start going off if you're going to be climbing into each other's airspace. once you get like 300 or 400 feet away from somebody, the conflict will usually stop. It does a lot of different algorithms depending on who's climbing into where and how you're converging and giving you each the different direction to go.
Roger.
But it'll make you miss by like 300 or 400 feet if kind of the worst case scenario.
Copy.
Yeah, Skitsy, no, it's not a big thing. This is triggering me for work a little bit. It's not too bad, though, because I am drinking beer. So
Nice.
as long as I'm drinking beer, I can sit here and talk shop. It's no problem. I like talking about airplanes.
Welcome back, Elliot. Yeah, it would be cool. I know it's a little bit maybe too much like work for you, Bullet, but I think the community would really enjoy, because I mean, people love watching your streams anyway when you fly in DCS, but I think it'd be really cool to watch you actually fly the PMDG 777 at some point. Maybe leave it towards the end of the year when the new simulator comes out, Flight Sim 24, because yeah, if you buy Flight Sim 2020 just now, you're probably looking at buying another one towards the end of the year. But I think at some point, man, that would be super cool to watch you. And also, apparently there's a full fidelity 787 coming out at some point for Flight Sim 24, so be awesome to see you set up back in streaming so we can watch you do that.
Yeah, I could do that and like do the emergency procedures and that stuff, engine failures and other things, and those procedures, and just kind of fly it like we would doing our recurrent training type thing. I could do a little of that.
So that was something me and Skitsy had briefly talked about, I think today on stream or yesterday, was that it would be cool to have you back on the channel, Jim, for one day. We'll do a flight like offline, not on VATSIM, where we basically just cover some emergencies. So we'll do like an engine failure, some other cool emergencies you can think of, and then like you can you brief the emergency beforehand, and then I'll try and I'll be the pilot flying, and you can run through the checklists, and I'll be Sully, you be the other guy.
Yeah, we can do that. We can do engine failure on takeoff. V2 cut, that's a little more energetic. That's interesting. We could, I don't know if they really model wind shear in here, because that's the fun stuff, is to try to fly through wind shear scenarios and escape from them.
So I have a payware program called Real Turbulence, and it adds things like wind shear and turbulence, but it's all based on what's going on with the real weather. So if there isn't turbulence and like reported in that area, real world, you won't really regret it. But yeah, hopefully, I don't think we can get wind shear on demand is the point I'm trying to make.
We could also do a engine failure oceanic, where we have to divert and do an ETOPS alternate, and we have to do a normal procedure for engine failure over the tracks, where you have to go 5 miles off and then start descending, and that's something good that we can go through.
Nice. So we've got an easy jet just about to pass, so almost in between both 777s. I think we're just going to miss them.
What we'll do is have you do the engine failure procedures in Eagle, Colorado, which is Vail. That's one of the most interesting procedures that we have, because you have the normal takeoff, you fly down one valley in the mountains, and if you have an engine failure, you aim at this mountain and then turn the opposite direction down a different valley.
So I'll have a look at the progress page. We have 61 miles to top of descent. So do you want to start running through the descent checklist? We got recall
we
first.
Missed that by 8 miles, sir. It should have been 69 miles.
60, damn it. Alright, so I'll go for recall first. I'll hit recall, and there is nothing there, just the no smoking lights that are on. Next up is notes. I didn't really get what you were saying about that before. Where's the notes?
Yeah, if you have an emergency procedure, like you lose a hydraulic system or something, the system will put in notes that you're supposed to land with like flaps 20 instead of 30, and then use reference speeds for flaps 20. And so those notes will be in there, and you can pull those up when you're doing your descent checklist, and you can review them.
Roger. Alright, so I have selected to auto brake to 2 because the runway at Gatwick is just as long as basically the runway at Heathrow, a little bit shorter, but I don't think we certainly need auto brake.
See, you're a legend. I will drink $25 worth of beer tonight, no problem.
Alright, so we want to get the landing data sorted out, so go to NavRad, make sure that the ILS is in there. 110.9er and 257 is the correct information for Gatwick. We'll go to the departure arrival page and just make sure, go to, press it again, yeah, arrival. We have the Disick 1 Golf for ILS 26 left set with the transition being timber. I will do a quick on-screen brief for you guys. 1 second here. So I'll show the nav program. So here we are setting up for the Disick 1 Golf. So we arrive at Disick, into Kidley, and then down towards Midhurst. Here is the plate. So we're expecting flight level 200 by Disick, and then down to 150 by Kidley, in towards Midhurst. We're expecting radar vectors from Midhurst. There's Hawley. I'll change the transition to Hawley because Timber is somewhere after Willow, I think. And then so we're expecting radar vectors leaving Midhurst for the ILS onto runway 26. 111.9, 257, which we've both checked on the NavRad page. Decision height into Gatwick is 396 feet, which gives us a decision height of 200. Missed approach, climb straight ahead to 3,000 until passing 2,000 or 1 mile away from the ILS, whichever is later. Turn left heading 170. So basically climbing straight ahead to 3,000, turning left heading 180, and then directed by ATC. Quite a straightforward missed approach pattern, and then we'll take radar vectors from there. We're not expecting to do Cat 3 or anything. This should just be straight in. It might be a little bit dark by the time that we get there, so that'll be interesting. This will be my first nighttime landing into using the 777. So we're coming in on 26 left. We're expecting to vacate. Worst case scenario, Golf Romeo. We'll aim for Foxtrot Romeo if we can, and then vacate, crossing runway 26 right, which will be a taxiway, and taking a transition onto the Juliet taxiway, contacting ground. And we are anticipating getting somewhere on the South Terminal Pier 2, so either stand 23, 21 or 19, something like that, somewhere here. This is what we're expecting. So Juliet up until maybe November, or left onto Papa, and then into Pier number 2 via Kilo. We have enough fuel to hold for 60 minutes, and that'll leave us with 30-minute contingency. Our divert is Manchester, which is, we've just passed that. We're not expecting to have to divert, but if we have to, we can divert to Manchester. I don't expect that's going to be a problem though, but we definitely have enough fuel to deal with any diverts or holds that we need to. London doesn't look too busy at the moment, so we're not expecting to enter the hold. We are expecting to get pinged by London Control at some point very soon, because they're probably watching us and this other guy and thinking, holy shit, they're both going to the same place, he needs to descend right in front of us as well, and he will start his descent before we are ready. Anything you want to add, Bullet?
Looks like everything, that all looks good. Landing, auto brakes 3, I think would be good for that turn off that you're talking about doing.
Copy, we'll go for auto brake 3.
Extended touchdown zone a little bit.
Yep.
The chat, yeah, everything else on your briefing looked good. The chat was asking a couple things. Let's see, on Twitch, Darren was asking about UFOs. Have I ever seen anything? Yes, I have. Bullet, what typical flying hours per week? It goes by the month. And usually like 75, 80 hours each month or each 30 days is kind of what the schedule fills up with. It's 3 international trips a month. Domestic would be 4 or 5 domestic trips just to get your hours up. But international, you get more hours per day, so you do fewer trips a month. And then someone else had something. Hold on. called conflict warning. The Q asked earlier on YouTube about the conflict warning stuff. That's for TCAS. Yeah, if you're going to be within 300 or 400 feet of somebody, then TCAS will start talking to you. Oh, the UFO thing. What I've seen actually last summer, several times over the Atlantic at night in the northern hemisphere, we've seen some lights that would light up, and it looked similar to Starlink satellites that get lit up by the sun, but they were moving in a position that was different than really what Starlink satellites do. They weren't moving in orbit. Like what you see the Starlink, we call them Starlink flares. They'll light up. They light up the sun from the other side of the planet because they're kind of mirrored surface on the bottom. I've seen some other lights up there in north that are high up, thousands of miles away or something. Not sure. That light up very bright. They're lighting up the sun, but they're rotating in a circle, trying to chasing each other. And you see them for 30 or 40 minutes at a time. They don't move in orbit. They just stay in the same place. Can't explain it. I don't know what it is, but there's something out there. And that's all I'll say about that.
Alright, Bill, this guy's going to be turning pretty soon. I'm going to just offset a little bit to the side, or else he's going to go literally through the front of our windscreen.
Yeah, Sidewinder missile select.
Yeah, I'm actually tempted to, never mind, we have just reached our top of descent. There we go. Alright, we're sending it. I think he's descended with us, dude.
For Cutlass, Iridium flares. Yeah, you see those all the time. They last for like 10 or 15 seconds. Starlink flares are similar to those. They last a little bit longer, and they go through an area of reflection from the sun that you can see. And then several satellites will go through that area. It's really neat to see at night.
I'm really interested to see what London Control's going to... I'm surprised they've actually not contacted us already.
They'll turn one of you.
Yep. We're literally both descending at the same rate.
I was flying with one captain who was jump seating on a 777 one day, and they're going over the Rockies, and they got severe mountain wave. And the guys saw 0.98 on the Mach meter.
Damn.
They were in a climb. They had speed brakes out, with power back, and they could not slow it down. But they got up to 0.98, and no buffet or anything on the airplane. They had like 6 mechanics meet the airplane and landed.
Right, so just give me a minute. I need to contact London Control and alleviate his anxiety.
London Control, we're back with you. Control 304, flight level 364.
Go to a website, just Google Iridium flares, and it'll tell you where and when to look for whatever.
Kitty Hawk 304, London Control, hello, squawk 0361.
Wherever else.
0361,
You can see Iridium flares all the
London
time.
Control, good evening. Speedbird 777 with you, passing through flight level 280, descending flight level 200 by descent.
Speedbird 777, London Control, hello, flying now, heading 180 degrees.
180, Speedbird 777.
London Control, good evening, KLM 736, ready for descent.
KLM 736, London Control, hello, descent, flight level 230, level by red, sir.
230, over red, KLM 736.
Speedbird 781 Charlie, descent, flight level 160, level Sabre.
At the 160 level Sabre, Speedbird 718 Charlie.
With them and just do the
KLM 538, stop your descent, otherwise you're going to end up in the Thames River.
I've tried to turn down ATC a little bit, hopefully that's good. Say something. Can I read check bullet?
Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Right, that's good. I've got you on one channel and ATC on another.
Hey, what kind of landing are you going to do, Matt? I'll put my prediction.
What kind of landing am I going to do?
Yeah, you're going to be below 200 or above?
Oh, I'm hoping to be below 200. Fingers crossed.
Okay, I'll put in my customer amount. Hold on.
So I think what killed me at Innsbruck.
1 second. Flight level 80.
That wasn't for me. What killed me was because I was at flaps 30, so when I took the power off at 40, I was maybe a bit too quick taking the power off, and obviously the difference between flaps 25 and flaps 30 with a drag, it's basically just fucking boom, fell out the sky when I went idle too quickly.
Yeah, the technique that I have is for airliners is you get the 50-foot call. Coming up on that, I'll look and see how close I am to target speed. If I'm within target speed or 5 knots, I'll just do my normal reduce the throttles at like 30, 40 feet. If I'm fast, like 10 or 15 knots above target, then at 50 feet, I'll bring my throttle side and then just kind of do the normal flare. But I'll glance at where I am on speed, and you were a little bit slow. You were like 3 or 4 knots below ref even.
And then dumped
below target. I would have kept the throttles in almost a touchdown at that point. Otherwise, you'll just, go ahead and burn. So,
next time I'll make a much better job of it.
Yeah, 50 feet, I always glance and see what the speed is, because the winds are always gusting, moving around and that stuff. So that's one of the techniques to do.
Easy 128 Echo, redirect Lambourne, descent flight level 90.
That's going to be my first night landing in triple as well. Nice night for it.
Really concentrate on your ILS approach and looking at your instruments, making sure you're lined up and stable on there, and then slowly transition to the runway. Because if it's nighttime lights and that stuff, your depth perception is off, so you really want to rely on it.
230 level by red for World Express 90 Lima. FY 10 on CPDC as well. Yep, Wilco will reply. Fever 777, turn left, heading 140 degrees.
777
left
one of the best landing.
140 degrees, speedbird 777.
Oops, sorry.
Fever 777, turn left, heading 140 degrees.
Apologies, sir, pressed the wrong button. Left now, 140, speedbird 777.
Amber 167, turn right, heading 140 degrees.
777's one of the best landing airliners out
Amber
there.
167. Speedbird 705, speed 250 knots. 250 below 705.
Yeah, the 787 is very floaty.
Speed 270
I've only landed the 777 twice, so I don't really the model. It feels good.
787-8 lands like a golf cart. It's horrible. You have a huge wing and you're very light, so you have a very little window of getting your flare just right. If you flare too early, you'll float because you have huge ground effect. And then if you try to just fly it on and not flare enough, you'll just clank it, crunch it on. Because you can't get enough flare. It's very thin. Your -9, -10 or heavier, you can get a nice flare and keep a little bit of a sink rate going and touch down nicely. The 777, you can flare and do a nice little sink rate. Very nice touchdown.
Nice. And do you, is it just the baby 787 do you fly, or do you fly the larger ones as well?
150,
I fly all three, 8, 9, and 10.
777,
More of the
heading in
8s
speed to London Control 129.430.
Heading in speed to London 129 or 430, speedbird 777.
The 777 looks
Amber 167, report your heading in speed to London Control 129.430. Heading in speed to 129.430, Amber 167. Seabird 705, report your speed to Heathrow Director 119.4, correction 119.730.
14 mic check.
1 second.
It's a 14, visibility 5.
London Control, a very good evening, speedbird 777 with you, just establishing flight level 200, heading 140.
Hello to both of you, inbound Gatwick, Roger. Speedbird 777, DSM flight level 150, resume navigation direct Midhurst.
Descend now 150 and ONAV for Midhurst, speedbird 777.
Number 167, London Control, hello, resume navigation direct Kidley.
Alright, we got a direct to Midhurst.
On navigation direct Kidley, Amber 167.
Right. The 777 landing, you're about 2.5 degrees of pitch with flaps and stable.
Control,
and then you do your flare at around 40 feet. So at 40 feet, you really start deciding to do your flare. And then you pitch up to maybe about 5 degrees.
Squawk 0323.
So you do like a 2 or 3 second rotation to go 2.5 to 5 degrees. That's how fast you do your flare.
London Low,
Flare
UCS 2 Tango Bravo, flight level 220.
EPS 2 Tango Bravo, under control, thank you, squawk 3442.
Roger, 3442 on the box, EPS 2 Tango Bravo.
So I'm trying to find the option on the menu, because it doesn't give me 40 feet, I think it goes 50, 30, 20, 10.
Yeah.
You're
so you got to, you just got to
contact Heathrow,
when it says 50,
I think there's some options in this menu that I can get all the different call-outs in.
730 here as lucky 20 Echo Alpha, goodbye connect.
The old triples that we had were 50, 30, 10. That's all it gave you. The 787
American
does every
85, and disregard. Third 55 Golf, turn right heading 182
you can
degrees.
change it by airline.
130 degrees, speed 55 Golf.
82 187, want to see Unicom, bye bye.
Easy 2187 is going to Unicom, thank you.
GPS 2 Tango Bravo, Zurich 1 hotel arrival, descend Paddle
I don't think it does anything, I think it's literally just modelled.
Roger, Zurich 1
the pen
hotel
cut.
and down to 140, UPS 2 Tango Bravo.
Nerds!
American 858, sir, 14,000.
Click the pen, like.
American 858, Roger, maintain Paddle 140 due crossing traffic.
Maintaining
The
140.
track pads on these things for the mouse. Use one finger, you have a hard time. You actually use two fingers, and it picks that up better and smooths out being able to move around on the checklist.
Ah, nice.
Topsword 476, climb Paddle 350.
Climbing taxi 350, sorry, 470.
Alright.
Ah, shit, I've just realised that
Tomjet 702, Leicester 1 Mike arrival.
the people watching the vlog are not going to be able to hear you talk because I changed the volume thing for which one you're on. Never mind, we'll do this again. We'll have to do this again. For the vlog. Everybody that's live hears you, so that's good.
Singapore 321, under control, hello, climb now, Paddle 290.
Climb now, follow 290, Singapore 321.
You're talking to yourself for the
Singapore
whole
321,
time,
route
man?
direct over.
Right, so we're going to Gatwick Director after this, 126825, I'll get that primed.
Route direct over Singapore 321.
Yeah, it's
Fly
always
1045, descend Paddle 80, after Godlu, direct Ramsar.
Repeat the check traffic.
So it's after Godlu, route direct Ramsar.
Right, give me 1 second, so you get on the radio.
Direct Rapsa for
London, Speedbird 777, we were advised by the previous controller to keep the speed up above flight, 310. Do you still want the high speed, or do you want that back now?
You can come back now to 250 knots.
Copy 250 for our Speedbird 777.
Thanks, Hayden. Officer, my navigation direct Samad.
Speedbird Samad, Speedbird 5 go.
5197, descend side of a 80, after Godlu, direct Ramsar.
Roger, descend 140 after God to direct Radford for fly 197.
How abrupt can you be with a speed brake in real life? Is it a case of you can just full send at any attitude, or do you have to be below certain speeds?
321 has an auto-core pilot fire, possible to maintain head at 100 degrees.
Because you throw it right back.
Say again, I was just on the phone.
People almost float.
My apologies. There appears to be a autopilot problem with connecting. Possible to stay direct heading of 100 degrees until fixed.
Yeah, that's fine.
Information echoes current at Gatwick. Runway news is 26 left.
American
Transition
858
flight level
Uniform,
is flight level 70. Surface winds are 220.
Now remember, folks, these 104th boys are a little special.
American 39, I'm on to Uniform, good night.
One squadron to rule them all. One squadron to fight
How
them.
dark do you have the cockpit?
One squadron to engage them all. And in the skies, bite them.
Easy 87, I'm on to Uniform, good night.
Lights will be off by the time we get pretty close, and then everything dimmed down.
Easy, I've been 4 foot out, I'm on to Uniform, good
We
night.
have a separate light.
Want to shoot this might have a good night.
The floodlight at MCP.
Control, Singapore 321, all systems are back to go. Direct over, Singapore 321.
Yeah, how do I turn the lights down?
Overhead panel.
Mayday, this is Delta 1554,
Fuck
over
off
engine
with your
failure.
mate. Sorry, dude, some guy's calling a fucking mayday.
Okay. Delta 1554, unfortunately, with the way that Heathrow is at the moment and what I'm covering, I'm going to have to ask you to disconnect a little bit too busy.
Different bus than the interior lights that light up the background of it. So you can have an
Dynasty 05
individual
Romeo,
bus failure.
contact London
Either side,
127.105.
still have your instrument panels lighted up.
Sorry mate, go and say that again for me louder. Some fucking guy called a mayday on the frequency.
The floodlight for the MCP and the internal lights are on two different buses, so left and right bus. So you can have
Holy
one bus
fuck,
powered
no,
down,
don't
and the other
use
bus still
that,
powered,
man.
It'll still light your,
Right. Where are they on the overhead panel?
right where your mouse is right now, the interior
You're on the ground
light,
at Gatwick. Call Gatwick Director,
the interior rotary knob,
126.825.
that one is the floodlight for the MCP.
126.8.
825.
Thank you.
Ah, got it, thanks man.
Yeah, one of those.
UPS 2 Tango Bravo, descent 588.
Main console still looks pretty bright though.
UPS 2 Tango Bravo. Good 5
Yeah,
Golf, 1 for Unicorn, good
there
night.
you go. We do everything that's good.
Turkish 9 of Victor Lima,
We
1
may
for
have the
Unicorn, good night.
floodlight still on.
Unicorn, have a nice
There's
day,
a push button switch near your master.
On the overhead again, yeah, I'm looking at the overhead now.
Yeah.
But oh shit, don't press the storm light, fucking hell.
Might as well turn the
London
seatbelt sign
Control
on.
Air
We'll get
France
pretty low.
1781, good evening. I am at flight level 050.
Air France 1781, London
Yeah,
Control,
storm
thank
light.
you. Maintain altitude 6,000 feet.
Maintain
Okay,
6,000 feet,
pedestal,
copy.
aft,
CADM 426, descend flight level
right
90.
side is another set of rotary switches for
426.
lighting the pedestal for the engines.
Speedbird 777, descend flight level 8, question 90.
Descend flight level 9 or 0, Speedbird 777.
CPS 2 Tango Bravo, contact Heathrow Director 119.730.
11730, UPS 2 Tango Bravo, thanks for help.
Kitty Hawk 3204, monitor Unicorn 122.8.
122.8.
Selected flight level, hold on.
Fly 1045, center altitude 6,000 feet, QNH 1017.
Should have a dome light up near where the other lights were in the overhead panel. I'm not sure why they're so bright.
Yeah, so I've turned the dome light all the way down, but it's still quite bright in here.
Singapore 321 requesting
There's another set of lights.
Singapore 321, climb bottom
rotary knobs somewhere here I'm
290.
missing.
290, Singapore 321.
Center pedestal to the right of the phone
476,
are
monitor Unicorn 122.8.
Ah, here we go.
IL flow.
122.8.
Got it, thanks man.
CADM 426, contact Gatwick Director 126.825.
126.825, thanks, good night.
Speedbird 777, contact Gatwick
And then
Director
you have your lower ICAS
126.825,
screen.
report your
Just
speed.
Director
behind that,
126.825 with the speed, thanks for your help, sir. Speedbird
set
777,
of
so on.
rotary knobs for the
Air France 1781, fly
Sorry, Jim, one
heading,
sec.
question, route direct.
It's horrible having you like delayed, brother. I'm so sorry for interrupting you all the time. Sorry, man, but the air traffic control keeps talking over you all the time.
Gatwick
City
Director,
contact
good
Gatwick,
evening,
one sec.
Canon 426, flight level 150.
Canon 426, report your cleared level.
090.
Canon 426, descend flight level 80, landing 26 left, no delay.
Descent flight level 080, landing 26 left, Canon 426.
Director, good evening. Speedbird 777 with Echo, flight level 140, speed 250 inbound Midhurst on the Dis at 1 Golf.
Speedbird 777, thanks. It's landing runway 26 left, no delay.
26 left, no delay. Speedbird 777.
Gatwick approach, Scanway 245, flight level 120, maintaining current heading.
Scandinavian 345, thank you. Straight in for 26 left, descend flight level 70, high speed and
ready
approved.
for some more lighting.
Yeah.
From the clock to the left.
Hey Ben, you're being vectored
Sideball
straight in
there,
for runway
yeah.
26 left, descend flight level 70, high speed is approved.
Private captain side, private DFO side.
Scandinavian 345.
Alright, press
And
record.
descend flight level 70, high speed approved.
Oh, Skitsy! Dude, you see the donation from Skitsy. I was wondering what you were talking about. Skitsy, thank you so much for the donation, brother. I didn't even know, dude. I didn't even notice.
What the fuck?
Skitsy, thank you so much, bro. I've got a discontinuity. I'm just going to put he's going to give us radar vectors, so I'm going to go for
Scandinavian 345, 30 track miles to touchdown, descent to altitude 5,000 feet, QNH 1018.
Are we on radar vectors now?
Not yet.
Set
No, I'm going to prompt them for it in a second.
QNH 101. To the QNH Scandinavian 345.
QNH 1018.
I'm trying to remember where those light switches are.
Super 777, leave Holly, heading 065, speed 220 knots.
Leave Holly 065, speed 220 knots. We're still in the slow descent toward 9,000.
Roger.
065, 220. Right, Jim, why won't it descend?
KLM 426, leave Timbrola, heading of 350 degrees to the speed of 220
I've got that set in. I'm on VNAV, I'm smashing the altitude override, the knob, and it just won't descend. It's still at 140.
It's slowly slowing down. FMA, what it's saying, VNAV speed and idle.
Ah.
FMA is God, we got to remember that.
Roger, so if that says idle, pop it in the idle.
If it says idle, it's bringing the auto throttles to idle. If it says hold, it's holding the auto throttles wherever they
Flight
are.
level 80, speed
so you'll have to move them manually.
Scandinavian 345, descent to altitude 4,000 feet.
Alright, so we're leaving Holly 065, 220 knots.
KLM 426, show you turning now. The instruction was to leave timber on a heading of 350 degrees. That means you fly to the fix and then fly the heading. Make the heading now 340 degrees.
Sorry about that, plane left heading 340.
Director, good evening, number 167, we're on a speed of 240 knots.
Why does the 777 go into the hold instead of taking the throttle? Like, I have no idea, bro. That's a good question. Elliot's got a good question.
167, thanks.
On Twitch.
Okay.
Why does the 777 go into hold instead of taking the throttle all the way down like the 737?
Scandinavian 345, turn right, heading 270 degrees, establish on the localizer, runway 26 left.
270, establish.
It will go into hold when it's going into a VNAV speed descent.
345.
KLM 426, descent to altitude 5,000 feet, QNH 1018, 28 miles to run.
If it's giving you a cruise descent or a kind of an average descent, it'll put your throttles into hold at a partial power setting, give you like 1,500, 1,200 feet per minute descent.
I wish you could turn
Scandinavian
these
345, descent to altitude 3,000 feet, when established, localizer 26 left, descent glide path.
A bright distraction in the corner of your eye.
Set 3,000 feet.
Okay, here's Holly coming up now.
Imagine you should be able to turn that thing off.
Take heading, yeah, I don't know how to do it yet though. Alright, taking 065, speed 220.
Number 1670,
okay, we'll take the landing lights on through 10,000.
065, speed 220 knots.
Taxi lights on as well, and the runway turns. Is that alright?
Descent to flight level 90, leave Holly heading 065, speed 220, number 167.
Scandinavian 34 Golf, speed 180 knots or greater for now, will slow down shortly. So Scandinavian 345, speed 180 knots or greater, I'll slow you down shortly.
180 knots or greater, Scandinavian 345.
Put the night vision goggles on.
426, descent to altitude 4,000 feet.
4,000 KLM 426.
Vivid 777, turn left heading 040 degrees, descend flight level 70.
Everything's going to kill me.
Seabird 777, left turn 030 degrees, descend flight level 70.
Left turn 030 and down flight level 70, speedbird travel 7.
KLM 426, turn right, correction turn left, heading 295, speed 180 knots.
295, speed 180 knots, KLM 426.
Scandinavian 345, speed 160 knots or greater to 4 DME.
160 knots or greater to 4 DME, Scandinavian 345.
KLM 426, descend to altitude 3,000 feet.
3,000, KLM 426.
Amber 167,
We're beating that guy from the delivery flight. We're in front of him now.
80 for Amber 167.
Oh, nice. At United, we religiously move the altitude knob.
777, track miles per touchdown, descend to altitude 5,000 feet, QNH 1018.
5,000, 1018, speedbird travel 7. Sorry,
the altitude knob is only moved by the pilot monitoring or pilot not flying.
The
other guy verifies.
280 degrees when
Pilot flying is not allowed to touch the
left,
altitude knob at all. That's
heading
two people looking at it verify it. So many altitude buses over the years. That's the way we do it.
Runway 26 left.
I'm hoping that the new Flight Sim 24 has got like proper multi-cockpit capability, because it's like such a huge thing that's missing from like modern flight sims, is the ability to seamlessly do multi-cockpit stuff where you can have pilot flying, pilot not flying.
Yeah, 2 people in the same cockpit, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. Hey, Merside, welcome.
777, descend to altitude 4,000 feet.
4,000, speedbird treble 7.
Amber 167, descend flight level 70.
Flight level 70 for Amber 167.
KLM 426, speed 180 to 6, then 160 to 4.
180 to 6, 160 to 4, KLM 426.
Yeah, we're using Virpil Warhawk. Always. Yeah, I know, Jake, but you have to download programs and stuff. I'm talking about like default in the game.
Good evening.
So the descent checklist is complete.
Easy 825
altimeters
Tango
hit, selected.
at 561 with information echo, request an IFR
Approach
to Edinburgh.
checklist is complete as well. We're on the landing checklist now. We've got speed brake to armed.
777, turn left heading 340 degrees, base leg.
Left now 340, speedbird treble 7.
Easy 825 Tango, cleared Edinburgh, Lambourne 6 Mike, squawk 0370.
Just giving us a base leg turn.
Cleared to Edinburgh by Lambourne 6 Mike departure, squawk 0370, easy 825 Tango.
I'm just going to go to this shit. I've not done my landing page on the FMC. 1 second, so I'm going to go in it. Index.
Approach. 722, correction 20 miles per touchdown, descend, sorry, correction, reduce speed 180 knots.
Reduce speed 180, speedbird treble 7.
Amber 167, turn left heading 010 degrees.
Left heading 010, Amber 167.
Easy 66, negative, still showing nothing.
I have just put it in at 10:45,
Okay, yeah, I see the problem. Okay, hold on, let me call the supervisor, he'll be able to help you, because I'm too busy to explain to you that you can't just file IFR from an IATA code to an IATA code with the route as IFR from airport to airport. Bear with me, I'll put you
What's it doing, a VNAV path on the descent? I just use Flitch at this point.
KLM 426, continue your approach to 26 left, QNH 1018. Sorry, correction, QNH 1018 from the surface from car.
QNH 1018, clear approach 26 left.
You got some flaps up?
Yeah, flaps 5.
Continue the approach, you're already cleared for it.
Sorry, continue approach 26 left, KLM 426.
Seabird 777, turn left heading 285 degrees. When established, localizer 26 left to stand by.
285 for the localizer at
mostly
down
flaps
line 26
25,
left.
only 30 when we need to for a short runway.
Sorry, say again?
Seabird 777, descend to altitude 3,000 feet now, further with the glide.
3,000. Worth the glide, speedbird treble 7.
Amber 167, descend to altitude 3,000 feet now, QNH 1018, 20 miles to run.
Down to 3,000 altitude and QNH 1018, Amber 167.
Scandinavian 345, welcome to Gatwick, second right Juliet, hold short.
Full speed brake here, he's chucked me in, I'm a little bit high because I was a bit slow in the descent.
Second right Juliet, hold short.
The gear is the best speed brake you have. You need
Copy. Yeah, we're 12 miles.
Cover cloud, speed was 2 Juliet Alpha,
Just catching the glide now.
170 for
Yeah, you look good,
130.
Wayne, no problem.
Yeah.
Sorry, just call sign there, please.
Speed was 2 Juliet Alpha.
Speed was 2 Juliet Alpha, roger. Thanks for descent flight level 90.
90, speed was 2 Juliet Alpha. And director,
Whenever we use speed brakes, real world, you always keep your hand on the speed brake if it's in use.
Back, brake, KLM 426, runway 26 left, wind calm, clear to land.
Alright, below the glide now, I'm going to take approach.
Number 167, turn left heading 325 degrees, speed 180 knots.
Left heading 325, speed 180, Amber 167.
Speed 777, when established, speed 160 knots, maintain to 4 DME.
160 till 4 DME, we are established on the localizer now, 10 miles, speed per 777.
Roger, thank you. 8539 Juliet, you've
I've got 160 till 4 DME, we'll take the next stage flaps.
Push start approved, QNH 1018, easy.
I'll take the gear down now, Jim, 9 miles.
345, just confirm right onto Juliet and hold short of Sierra, please.
Apologies, right on Juliet, hold short Sierra, standing in 345.
Traffic director, easy 69 over Romeo Lima, hello.
Easy 69 Romeo Lima, hello, report your level.
150 level.
Thank you, maintain flight level 150 for now, level over you shortly.
Maintain 150, easy 69 Romeo Lima.
Speed 777, continue approach to 26 left, wind calm.
Continue 26 left, speed
Flying
per
at night
777.
today to be able to
Number
use my,
167, turn left heading
portion of my
280
time.
degrees, when established, localizer 26 left, continue with the glide.
Localizer will continue with the glide, Amber 167.
Terminating 345.
Jesus Christ. I'm going to disconnect the autopilot, I'll take over, Jim.
Scandinavian 345. Scout director to speed 329.
We're all counting out.
With base
Thanks, boss. Alright, my aircraft.
1018, 777 into the RR clearance to Mauritius, please.
Speed 329, hello, cleared Mauritius, Minfo 1 Mike, squawk 1074.
1074, Mr. 1 Mike, 329.
Okay, gears down, flaps are set, 25, speed brake is
Usually
armed.
don't do the autopilot disconnect bar, you only do the push button on the yoke.
Ah, Roger, I just remember your Innsbruck thing where you're saying it'll disconnect protections, I've got that in my mind.
Easy 8640 aircraft 8319, stand number 107.
Roger, thanks, clear back. Break, KLM 426, welcome to Gatwick, right Juliet, hold short of Sierra, expect stand 34.
Right Juliet, hold short Sierra, expect to stand 34 into KLM 426. Seabed 329, stand 25 minutes start.
Seabed 329, pushed out approved, face to the west.
Face west 329.
And Gallagher, Griffin 43 uniform, descend flight laser.
Griffin
come over 4 miles, coming back to
uniform, Roger, thank you. Turn right now, heading 265 degrees,
Landing checklist complete.
nose on 8.
Landing checklist complete.
265, vectoring Felix, Griffin 185.
Speedbird 777, runway 26 left, surface calm, cleared to land.
Speedbird 777, clear to land, 26 left.
Number 167, speedbird 60 left, continue approach runway 26 left.
160 left, continue approach 26 left, number 167.
269 Romeo Lima, descend flight level 130.
Descend flight level 130, easy 69 Romeo Lima.
1000.
KLM 46, continue by Juliet, Quebec, and Lima, hold short of Quebec Alpha.
Juliet, Quebec, Lima, hold short of Alpha, KLM 426.
This time it's hold short of Quebec Alpha.
Quebec Alpha, KLM 426, sorry.
Seabed 329 to taxi.
Seabed 329, left turn on to November, hold short, correction, left turn November, hold November 1.
November, hold November 1, please, again, 99. Director, good evening, AC320 Romeo, A320 with Echo, descending level 169, bounding 2 knots.
AC320 Romeo, thank you, descend flight level 90, speed level by Timber.
Man 0 to level, easy 30, correction 320 Romeo.
Good evening, November 834 Bravo Zulu, ready for clearance to Rome, Chipina.
November 834 Bravo Zulu, Roger, standby number 2. The Easy, I told stand by on the IFR clearance, just say again the call sign please.
Easy 8684.
Easy 8684, thank you, cleared Amsterdam, frame 1 Mike departure, squawk 0471.
clear that for our plane 1 Mike departure, squawk 0471
8866, will be back correct. Scandi 345, flight change of plans for you, hold short of taxiway November for now.
Hold short taxiway November, Scandi 345.
Ticket 329, continue by November, and Alpha November for Alpha, Christmas point Alpha 2. Sorry, ignore me, I can't read it. Alpha November and Alpha November, Alpha 3.
Lieutenant 10.
Super 777 to Gatwick, second right on Juliet, hold short of Sierra, I'll call you back to the flat.
Second right on to Juliet. I want some nuts!
Run your ego is ready.
Scandinavia 345, continue taxi, stand 15
Continue taxi, stand 6C, Scandinavia 345.
Oh, that was
Griffin
intense.
43 uniform, you've got,
a lot of noise.
let's see, about 37 track miles run. When you're ready to send altitude 5,000, it's QNH 1018.
Stand 5,000, QNH 1018, Griffin 43.
If you hit 9 Romeo Lima, descend flight level 100, speed 250
Yes,
knots.
oh, that's a taxiway, it's 5-7.
Descend flight level 100, speed 250 knots, easy 69 Romeo Lima.
Visit 2 Juliet Alpha,
Runways are
speed
too close
250
together,
knots,
they don't
leave
have the,
Holly heading
dispensation to use them
040
both, so
degrees.
it's only like the one that we landed on is the only active
250
runway
and
there,
leave
like,
Holly
it's got a straight
040, speed of 2 Juliet Alpha.
Yeah.
And director easy 539 Juliet requesting taxi.
So I've turned
Juliet, taxi
the
Quebec
strobe light
Alpha,
off,
left Lima, right
turned the
Papa,
taxi
hold
turns
Papa
and the runway lights off.
Alright,
Yep,
taxi
there's taxi
Quebec
right now.
Alpha, Lima, Papa, hold Papa 1, easy 539 Juliet.
Visit 777, it'll be stand 35, continue by Juliet, left on Quebec, right on Lima, hold short of Quebec Alpha.
Okay, just the stand number please, sir.
35.
Okay, stand 35, Juliet, left onto Quebec, right onto Lima and hold Quebec Alpha for 35, speedbird 777.
3 back correct. Visit 329, runway 26 left, surface winds calm, clear takeoff.
How do you deal with getting the taxi instructions? Is one of you just furiously writing them down?
Yeah, FO always talks to
speed
ground
Alpha.
while the captain's taxiing, and a lot of times we'll use a scratch pad in the FMC to just type in like Lima Alpha, which put L and A, just as a scratch, or the guys write it down.
426, give way to the
So that's personally, it's one of the things I find hardest about being a sim pilot versus a real pilot is because we have to do everything ourselves, all the radio frequencies, all the radio, the channel changes, writing down all the instructions while trying to taxi the aircraft at the same time. Yeah, it can be quite stressful. So I just have the pen in my hand, like just like putting like I'll write Juliet and then LQ, so Juliet left on Quebec, and then I'll write RL right on Lima and stuff like that, so I can read it all back.
Yep, that's good. Yeah, I've done a lot of single pilot, just general aviation stuff.
Oh yeah,
you're all
yeah.
on your own doing it.
Yeah.
Hello, right, 34 Bravo, Juliet, thanks. I'm going to call you back to slightly amended rating, just advise if you can accept it, please.
I think this was a good call coming into Gatwick. Good ATC coverage all the way down. I'll need to work on the volume, so Jim, because you're quite quiet anyway. So when I've got the ATC talking to me, it's really difficult for me to hear anything that you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I'll send it to you via DM.
Let me jump away from here for a few minutes. I'll be right back.
Copy, sir. Okay, so we're looking for Quebec, chat. We're turning left onto Quebec.
Steve 329, report you passing altitude. Steve 329, right, say again, you're passing altitude, please.
David Jory says, what Gatwick scenery am I using? I'm not sure, dude. I got it from FlightSim TO, though. FlightSim TO is where I got it.
329, climb now to altitude 5,000 feet.
Don't forget to switch to QNH, says Gonzo. I've been on QNH for ages, brother.
Griffin 43 uniform, descend to altitude 4,000 feet.
But thanks for the heads up, man. Thanks for watching out.
EC69 Romeo Lima, descend flight level 90.
Descent flight level 90, EC69 Romeo Lima.
God damn you, Wiley! What did you vote for? What's 2? Oh, you predicted below 2. Oh, nice one, Wiley. Never mind. I take it back, Wiley. I take it back. I love you, brother. AKA Sean Bean.
Gatwick Director, EZ825 Tango, ready for push and start.
Where you at? CT539 Juliet, continue via Papa, Alpha Sierra, hold Alpha 2.
Continue Papa, Alpha Sierra, Alpha 2, EZ...
The Who's can't vote.
Correction, EZ539 Juliet.
EZ825 Tango, push start approved.
Jake's a buster though. Jake voted against me. Fuck you, Jake.
EZ825 Tango.
Bro, see if the landing rate's 201 and I've got to give Jake points, I'll be raging. Alright, here's Quebec here.
EC69 Romeo Lima, descend flight level 80, turn left heading 040 degrees.
Turn left heading 040 degrees, descend flight level 80, EC69 Romeo Lima.
With the lighting. Alright, it said...
Stupid 329, climb to altitude 6,000 feet.
Juliet left onto Quebec, right onto Lima.
Stupid 2 Juliet Alpha, 22 miles, descend to altitude 4,000 feet, QNH 1018, speed 220 knots.
Descending 4,000 feet, QNH 1018, and speed 220, Stupid 2 Juliet Alpha.
Griffin 43 uniform, turn right heading 290 degrees, descend altitude 3,000 feet.
Stand 3,000 right heading 295, Griffin 43 uniform.
Where is stand 35?
Stupid 777, continue via Quebec and Lima to stand number 35.
Okay, continue Quebec and Lima for 35, stand 35 correction. Speedbird 777. Let's try to work out where stand 35 is.
EZ69 Romeo Lima, descend flight level 70, speed 220 knots.
Descend flight level 70, speed 220 knots, EZ69 Romeo Lima.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
Alright, 34 Bravo City, just confirm you can accept the amended
I got like 2 minutes and I gotta run out of here. So.
Bravo City, thank you.
Any other questions from the chat?
Anybody got any questions for Captain Fearless, the Captain of Champions? Thank you so much, Jim. This has been a special experience, dude. This has been the second time I've done something like this. I was lucky enough to do this with Tricky Tricker for the A320. Now I got you for the 777, so I feel like a proper VIP. Thank you so much for your time, sir.
Tricker, he knows his Airbus for some of it.
He's a left seater.
Well, I got to see what the feet per minute was on this awesome landing you did, though.
Oh yeah, I will. Yeah, you got like just 2 minutes till I get to gate, and I can show you.
Oh yeah, I got a few minutes.
180 knots.
Dude, is my tail going to fit under this bridge?
No.
It doesn't look good, does it?
Usually these are designed only for narrow bodies, but good luck.
Bro, if I get a tail strike, I'm sending a strongly worded email. Oh, no, I think we just make it. I know the A380 doesn't make it under here.
I've got my chart set up for 777, so it tells me all the taxiways I can and can't go on, and it says it's okay. So it looks like it's alright.
Yeah, so I know that the A380, because I used to fly the A380 into here years ago for Emirates, back in the flights FSX days, and the A380 doesn't have tail clearance under there.
Darren, if for some reason he had to fly a real airliner, I think he'd do it no problem. It would be a little clunky because you're just not used to the real thing, but he'd be able to work his way through it.
That's very kind of you. I don't think I would kill everybody, but the landing gear would definitely need serviced.
If you can operate a helicopter like you do, you'd have no trouble doing this stuff. Yeah, that doesn't give you a license to run up there and
assault them,
food poison the pilot. They can't operate or something, and you have to save the day. Don't do that. But yeah. We had that happen about a year ago. 2 pilots coming out of Frankfurt. They, the captain and flying first officer, got salmon sandwiches for breakfast in the terminal, and they had both severe food poisoning.
They both ate the same sandwiches?
Yeah, they both ate the same sandwich.
Schoolboy, you know.
And so the bunkie and a deadheading captain, he was flying a different airplane. It wasn't they were 777 guys. They both operated the airplane and landed, and the other guys were literally in the bathroom and on the floor.
Holy
stuff
shit!
Coming out of both ends. It was horrible.
All right, I'll do the GSX figure, get on gate once we check the landing rate. So I'll disconnect from VATSIM now, and I will end the flight. Complete flight. Alright, here we go, guys.
Internationally, we always have the APU going, so as soon as we set the brakes, we can shut the engines down. We usually try to do that so we don't suck anybody into them, because chopping up people is bad.
That is bad. They tend to complain, or at least their relatives do. Right, so here's the landing point, Jim. Hopefully you guys can see this on. So we definitely made it into the landing area. So I think that the perfect landing would be touching down on these the big keys here. So I floated just a little bit past that, but still well inside the landing area. And the landing rate was, can I get a drum roll, please? 179, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much, Wiley. 179, brothers. 100 minus 179. Nice, lovely little touchdown. Awesome, awesome. Happy with that, dude. Really happy with that. Thank you so much for the help, Jim.
Doubled my points.
Yeah, let's get the payout. Let's pay them out. Let's pay the man. Fuck you, Jake!
Alright, once the engines are shut down, the red flashing thing comes off.
Copy, we're going to leave the engines on for now, brother, because we're going to watch the replay. I will let you get off and play some steam, man. Thanks again.
Yeah,
this was awesome, man. Thank you.
Yeah, that was fun. Talk about airplane stuff. Then we jump out of here. Everybody, have a great evening, afternoon, morning, wherever you are.
Thank you so much, dude. Captain Bullet. Thanks again, sir. Take care. Oh, guys, how awesome was that? I'll stop the record and then we can watch the replay. Minus 179, we did it, guys. We did it. 73,000 points go to Pyromaniac. The guy had faith in me. Thank you so much, Pyro. Thank you so much, Wiley, as well. Thank you for everybody that voted for the faith. Thank you so much to 104th Bullet for being an absolute legend and, yeah, just making sure that we got some great tips. And, dude, how awesome is that? How awesome is that? I had a real world 777 captain talking me down. Right, let me sort out the cameras here so we can watch the replay. But that landing felt good. I'm certainly not used to landing this aircraft yet. That's only the third time that I've landed it, but that felt good, guys. I gotta be honest with you, that felt good. So we'll put the camera here and we will watch the aircraft come in a couple of times and then we will hop out of here. So if I go to replay, pause replay and then drag the aircraft all the way in, there we are there coming in. Alright. Display capture, we'll turn off the overlay. In fact, can you guys, how dark is it on if I do display capture? I should make it a bit brighter for you guys. I don't know why it does that. Right, resume replay. Alright, we'll watch a few of these from external view, and then we'll do some internal view, and then we might even change the time to the daytime and see what it would have looked like in a day. But here's the wind view. You'll hear some pretty funny audio stuff, guys. Sorry, that's just because we're doing it by the replay. In fact, I think if I go into the cockpit, the flaps are probably going to be up. Yeah, the flaps are up. Hashtag stupid. Turn the landing lights, they are all back on anyway. Those off. So where are we? There we are there. So the touchdown point is just, will it come back just a little bit? Look at the size of the aircraft, dude. Holy smokes. Easily the biggest aircraft I've flown on Flight Sim 2020. Like you heard me talking about before, I have flown A380s and stuff before on simulators, so it's not the biggest aircraft I've flown, but certainly the biggest one I've flown in this sim. Ah, god damn it. Thank you so much for spoiling that. I think we'll watch some external view in the aircraft, and then what we'll do is we'll change the time to daytime so we can see what it looks like from the ground, so we can actually properly appreciate. So you're seeing the brakes glowing because as far as Flight Sim is concerned, like Flight Sim doesn't count this as a replay, it's just basically the aircraft landing over and over again, so you see the brakes glowing, which is pretty cool, but a bit unrealistic as well. That's a cool shot with the wheels glowing like that. Ellie accidentally voted above, not below. I think we need to change it, Skitsy. We need to have below set to option number 1, because I think that's what everybody's used to. Oh, dude, that was slick. That was slick, guys. Really gentle with the nose wheel as well. I'll tell you what, hold on. You can't really see. I think it was me that changed it round. Hey, Bullet, yeah, we couldn't really see very well, so... Oh, dude, that is how you do it, son!
Now that's how you land an aircraft.
Oh, did you hear him now? That's how you land an aircraft. That is how you do it, son. Oh my goodness. That was slick. That was slick, guys. That's my best one so far. Where are we? There she is. Smooth operator. You know, it's a good one when there's like a 1 second gap between the rear wheels on the buggy touching down and the front wheels touching down. Yeah, it has. See, I think I changed it on one of the predictions when you weren't here, brother. But yeah, we need to make sure that you guys that are voting, just make sure. And don't worry, Elliot, there's going to be loads more chances for you to win your points. But yeah, that was a smooth landing, guys. I'm really happy with that. We'll have a couple of views outside here on the runway, and then we'll do a couple more like wing shot views, and then we'll do an internal cabin view as well. I wish Track IR was working. Perfect flare, I think. I just nailed it. Ah, oh, dude, I like that. I hate how the landing light comes on once we touch down. That's stupid, but never mind. That's just replays for you. Dude, what a beautiful jet. What an absolutely beautiful jet, chat. Oh, this is a good one. Yeah, so Skitsy's done us a brand new reg one, guys. Next time you see me, we'll be flying in a 777 with the reg G Maverick, GMVRK. Dudes, I'm proper happy with that one. What a great way to end the stream, guys. Absolutely fantastic. Alright, last one and then we're getting out of here. Don't want to press that, what to press? Shit, what is it? Oh Christ, I can't remember any of the buttons. What's zoom? It's not that. It's not that. Oh my god, why can't I remember the zoom? The buttons. I'm sure it was that one. It's not that either. Oh my god, why can't I remember the buttons? I've just been zooming the whole time. I'm sure I'm pressing the right one and this is happening. I don't know why this is happening. Good night, Darren. You take care, brother. Thank you so much for all your support today, dude. Imagine that after like a big like 12-hour flight, 14-hour flight. That'd be an amazing way to end a stream, dude. Why are these buttons not working anymore? Anyway, right chat, we need to hop off the good foot and do the bad thing and get out of here. Thank you so much for watching, guys. What an amazing way to end the stream.
They say, good landing is a landing you can walk away from.
You can definitely walk away from that, man. Alright, I'll turn this down. Thanks to everybody for watching, guys. Thank you so much. Why is this happening? Oh my god. Ah, for God's sake. We have to just sit in this view. There we go. Alright guys, thanks again for all you legends for watching. Thanks for all the brand new followers on Twitch. Thanks for all the brand new subscribers on YouTube. Massive thanks to Skitsy for all the admin help and the $25 donation, dude, in the middle of the stream. Thank you so much for that. Thanks to Amundos for the tier 1 subscription. Thank you, brother. Thanks to Shadowpain for the tier 1 for 19 months on Twitch. And Black VQ35HR for the tier 1 as well on Twitch. Thanks to all the brand new subscribers on YouTube. I hope you enjoyed the show. Press that like button if you did. If you're watching the replay back, guys, sorry that you couldn't hear Bullet talking in the chat. I had to make some volume channel changes, but hopefully we'll get that sorted out in the next time we get him on. Speaking of the man, the myth, the legend himself, thank you so much to 104th Bullet again for joining us and lending his expertise and yeah, making great memories, dude. I really enjoyed this. It was a huge highlight of my week. Alright, my friends, I'm going to get out of here. If you're watching on Twitch, stick around and we'll host someone else from the community, and I will see you guys tomorrow for some more flight sim action. Until we meet again, look after yourselves, your friends and your families. Top Gun and volleyball, ladies and gentlemen. I am not Scott Manley. Fly safe.